like to ask, this is Paul. I was wondering, the show, from what we loved about the show, and I'm sure that's what the fans loved about the show. It seemed like you guys were a family in a way, and it came across that chemistry between you. Was it like that on the set too?
Yes, it was, because, but, you know, after a few, since it went 11 years, after 5 or 6 years, we did forget. You know, I can remember one time we were all sitting around backstage waiting for the show to start, and we were all quiet, we're all together. And Tom Bosley started a story. He said, "You know, your mother," I said, "Tom, I am not their mother." By that time, we had totally forgotten.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Marion, let me ask you. I read this, and I tell you what, I would have never known from from watching you guys on screen. And they said the same thing about William Frawley and Vivian Vance, that on screen they got along, but off screen they weren't exactly the nice to each other. And I heard that in the beginning, that it was a little tension between you and.
It was tough for me for a couple of years, because Tom Bosley, he didn't care much for me, and you know, he had won the Tony on Broadway when he was about 26 years old, when he did the big musical Fiorello.
Right.
So I don't know, he wanted somebody more important than me, you know, to play his wife.
Right.
So he was tough on me. And it took a long time. So I just finally, I almost, you know, I didn't give up, but I thought, I don't think I can do small talk sitting here on the set.
Right.
I got the middle point, and I thought, I think I'm going to do this middle point and try to stay out of trouble.
Well, eventually you grew on him and you wore him down.
Oh, yes, eventually we became so close. I mean, it's a precious thing, yeah.
Right.
I got to ask you, as Gary Marshall, I always thought he was brilliant. I got the chance to work in a couple of his movies. Would they allow any of the actors to ad-lib, or you had to follow the script?
Did you get to work in some Gary's movies?
Yes, I was. I worked in New Year's Eve. It was a movie with Ashton.
All right.
With the.
No, we didn't. You know, we had to pretty much stick to the script, because it has to be edited. It has to be. It's very much controlled. So if you wanted to do a lot of ad-libbing, you'd better do that in rehearsal, you know, because by the time we got around to making the show, it's pretty well locked in.
Right.
Because it's certain, you know, we had time limits. We were on, if you got a half-hour show, you'd be surprised how little of that show, that time was used on the show.
Right.
Right.
It's
It just.
not commercials.
You know what?
The
The reason why I asked that is because some of the scenes you watch are so funny and so brilliant that it seems that they were off the cuff, you know. But that was Gary Marshall. He was a.
Well, and that was and our director Jerry Paris.
Right.
We always were having such a good time, and because we had that audience out there,
Yeah.
there was a very lively atmosphere.
Yeah.
Very live.
It was fun. It was fun to be out there. 'Cause I was actually in the audience once, and I had a great time. It was just so much fun. The whole taping of it and everything was so much fun.
You could see that it was not being at a party.
Right. Right.
Absolutely. Marion, besides the actual chemistry of the cast and the talent of the actors, you know, it's only very rare that you see a cast like that come together and put it's, you know, you don't see that much anymore. What do you think made America fall in love with Happy Days?
Well, I think one of the things that kept us together was the softball team. You know, so the guys didn't want to give up their team. You know? So, and the fact that you had a lot of boys there, and all those boys got along so well.
Right.
Ron and Donnie Most and Anson Williams and Henry Winkler.
Yeah.
All very much strong individuals, but they blended together beautifully.
Yeah.
And you got to give Gary Marshall a lot of credit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
They
think.
made us. We became a family.
Exactly. He put together the right people.
Yeah. I got to ask a question. I'm sure all of America is wondering. Whatever happened to Richie's older brother, Chuck?
Chuck. Whatever happened to Chuck? Everybody else. You know.
I figured that.
Well, we would make jokes among ourselves. We'd say, if you go upstairs, if you see Chuck, you don't see him.
It's funny, they never explained him off, it was so
We
funny.
just didn't need him, you know.
Right,
Right,
right.
right. Marion, for those of the younger viewers who may or may not know of you, which I can't see that there isn't any, there would be any. What made you want to be an actress? When did you know, say, this is what I
Well, you
want to
gotta
do?
buy my book. You know I have my book.
Yes.
You have it there on the page.
Yes, we
It's
do.
called My Days, Happy and Otherwise. And
Right.
when I'm from Minnesota. Anybody there from Minnesota?
No.
So I just had to become something special, you know? And it's all in the book.
Right.
So by the time I was like 14 years old, I said to my mother, "Can I, after the 10th grade, can I go up to Minneapolis? Because I lived in Albert Reed, Minnesota,
See, let me just show
wow.
the camera.
of about 16,000 people. I said, can I go up there and take drama lessons? And my mother, being a Canadian, said, sure you can. So I went up there, became a babysitter, took care of the children, and took drama lessons.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And you caught the bug right from there, yeah. And the rest is history.
Yeah, the rest is history. But I was very centered at such a young age on what I wanted to do.
Oh, wow. Dave, you had a question?
Yes, Mary, how are you? It's Dave Hodge.
Hello, Dave.
How are you? Now, what inspired, how long after that move did you decide to change the spelling of your name?
Even before I went, because when I got confirmed, you know,
Yes.
I'm an Episcopalian. On my little prayer book, my name was spelled Marian, and I thought, you know, I'm like 12. I'm thinking, that is not going to look good on a marquee. So I'm changing it right now.
Oh, wow.
That was John Wayne's middle name.
Yes.
Sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because it's kind of it is kind of the masculine version.
Right.
Now, did you have to, did you automatically just get cast as Marion Cunningham, or did you have to actually audition?
No, I did. But the part was so small at the time, and they said, yeah, you'll be fine for that. Because my lines were like, oh, Howard. And like, oh, Richie. You're not eating. Those are my lines. These are my lines. So it was very unimportant. Tom Bosley was very important, very strong father figure.
Right.
Well,
And it was not about the parents, it was about the boys.
Right.
So, you know, you had such a great career, and so what made you decide to do a book? I've read the book, and for those who haven't, I don't want to spoil it. Is the book sort of a tell-all, or is it more of an autobiography?
Oh, it's an autobiography, because what is curious to me is my beginning. You know, the fact that I, you know, come from a little town in Minnesota, and I had this dream, and I did it. By the time I was 22, I was under contract with Paramount Studios. My God, so that's kind of almost impossible, and I did that. So I'm proud of that. You know?
Oh, absolutely.
You know how old I am now? I am so
20.
old.
No, you're
I
not.
don't think you know anybody as old as me.
Sure.
We've
I
had,
am 89 and a half.
And a half, I like the half, I like that.
Because on my birthday, I shall be 90.
oh, wow.
Do you know anybody who is even 90?
Well, I don't know anybody that looks like you that's 90, I'll tell you that.
We've actually had two people on the show that are older than you. Peter Marshall, who's 91,
Oh, yes, yeah.
and Charlotte Ray, who's in her middle
Oh,
name.
she was so funny,
Charlotte. I know Peter Marshall.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
But you don't look your age at all.
compared to
At
them,
all.
you're a spring chicken.
You think it's the pill?
I think the picture in your attic is getting very old, but yours is staying the same.
Well, I'm very strong and healthy.
Yep,
So
you are.
far.
Yeah.
If I can remember from the last time we had you on, you were a little reluctant to write the book, but I think your children encouraged you to do it.
Oh, I was terribly reluctant. I said, no, my son brought this fellow, David Laurel, to my house. He said, Mommy, he's going to help you write the book. I said, no. So then they tied me to a chair. And so out of this, they would just make a tape recording of everything I said.
Right.
Oh my
That's
God.
how the book got done.
That's great.
Nice.
Now, how do you feel now having done it? Do you regret it, or are you proud that you did it?
Oh, I'm thrilled to have it. I'm
Yeah.
thrilled to have it. And I've got a lot of wonderful pictures in there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I saw you with
Not
Cary
only
Grant.
the Happy Days people, but all along in my career. I mean, I have a picture with Clark Gable and Cary Grant and Tony Curtis and,
Yeah, I like the Cary Grant picture. That's my favorite.
yeah.
I love Cary Grant. He was one of my favorites.
Marion, the last time we had you on, you were talking about your son who's an actor, and you told me,
Oh, I
now
love
in the Northeast here, I've been watching this
That was funny.
commercial for Geico for so many weeks and
Yeah.
months. I fall
Yeah.
off of my chair laughing every time I see that. And then you told me that he plays George Washington.
I love that.
Marion, you have to get him to call in and go, we've all got places to go.
The best commercial ever.
That is,
That's great.
that's got to win an award.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite
I'm
Geico.
sure he ad-libbed that part,
Oh, that's
My
great.
son Jim, he's in this Geico commercial
All right.
that he plays George Washington.
That's great.
Honest to God. And my daughter was a writer-producer on Friends.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Great show.
And my daughter Ellen, and she'd say, Mother, you hurt my feelings. You're so amazed at my career. I said, I'm sorry. It's very difficult. And it's extraordinary that you have this job,
Right.
So,
That's great.
Marion, were your kids influenced by your career, or did they find the love of it on their own?
oh, I'm sure that they, no, I think because they were raised in it, and many children that they went to school, their parents were working in the industry, as we say, in the industry. So it was not unusual for them to try to go into it also.
Oh,
But it's not, children, it's not easy. I don't want you all
Okay.
packing up now and gonna come to Hollywood, okay?
wow. Dave?
Hey, Mary, it's Dave again. I had a quick question. I mean, you came from the Greatest Generation, not just in what they did, but in acting, what they had to do, and the people that came up in your era. Like, they had to have the singing, the dancing, and everything behind them so they could be booked at all these great shows and events. How do you feel like the talent-wise is compared to now, with the people coming
Oh,
through now?
it's more talented than ever. More talented than ever, darling. You know?
Wow.
You know what?
Yeah.
I like a lot of the new stuff that's on TV, but I always find myself, and maybe I'm just, I'm old school, but I find
Imagine.
myself watching the retro shows,
Always. I
the
do too.
retro movies, and this is not a knock against actors. Everybody's great, and I support everybody that wants to, do their trade and their craft. But some of the stuff they put out today, it's just like, wow. I'd rather turn on like MeTV and watch it.
Watch
Happy
all the shows,
Days
yeah.
or Laverne and
Well,
Shirley.
you know what it is? It's like watching the old movies from the 30s and the 40s. Wow. Weren't
Right.
they wonderful? They were so
Oh, yeah.
well made.
Yeah.
Right.
And the clothes were beautiful, and the music up and underneath.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree.
It's a pretty fabulous industry,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's wide open. First of all, there's too much product now.
Right.
Yeah, and they just put stuff out there to put it out there.
But,
and
you
that's-
know, from the outside looking in, I would think that the talent was better back then.
Oh, absolutely.
You know,
More diversified.
Charming thing to say, darling. Were you ever an actress?
I'm not, no. But,
She's trying to get in.
Being an actress? Didn't you ever want to be?
when I was little, when I was younger, I always thought I was going to be a singer like my father. He's an Italian singer. And
Oh.
I've seen myself maybe like dancing on stage and singing, but I never really inspired to be an actress. No.
She wants to do voiceover work.
Didn't you have to take tap dance lessons?
Absolutely. I love that. Yes. My
Okay.
favorite tap dance.
All kids,
jazz,
all girls did
yes,
that when they were little, right?
ballet. I love all that.
Piano lessons? No.
No,
No
I
piano?
like the guitar when I was in drums.
She wants it. She's trying to get into voiceover work because she can do so many different voices. So that's a.
Know that I am SpongeBob SquarePants' grandma.
Oh, I know that.
Oh, I never
That
knew
is
that.
so
That's
cool.
nice to know. I didn't know that.
That is
And
so
Patrick, I gave Patrick the, I don't know, the cookies. I guess I could give Patrick the cookies. And
Oh, wow.
I didn't even know what the
That's
show
so,
was.
right? That's
Was that the
funny.
first time you've ever did a cartoon voice? Doing
Yes, yes.
Oh, wow.
That's gonna be
That's
fun.
so
Okay, okay. I don't know what this is.
Right.
You know, it's funny. One of the voices I listened to, I think it was Diego. He's on NCIS. So every time I watch that and I hear him speak, I'm thinking of the character.
That's an interesting art form in itself.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Very closed business too.
It's a tough nut to crack, but
Yeah.
once you get in, it can be
And
very.
so, Robin Williams was on Happy Days once.
Oh, I
Right.
love
Oh,
him.
yeah.
Right.
Work.
Started, he was York from.
Mork and Mindy.
Mork from Ork.
Right.
Yeah.
And it was an extraordinary thing because he was so sensational
Right.
that I could see Ron Howard and Henry Winkler just barely being able to keep up with him. Just hanging on tight. They're just hanging on and trying to keep up with him.
Right.
And people were coming down from offices all over the lot because they heard about this guy. And it just took the world by storm.
Oh yeah.
He was an amazing.
Yep.
character.
Great energy, right?
Yes or not, and if I'm wrong, I apologize. You're retired now from the business or semi?
Well, I am because a couple of years ago I was doing some show and I said, "What is that line? What is that line?" And they said, "We just told you." I said, "I know, but I forgot it." I said, "You know, children, I bet that I should retire." So now I'm retired. Yeah.
Yeah, you got. I understand. You
Good for you. You deserve to retire.
you want to go out on top. Now, is there anything career-wise that you didn't get a chance to do that you would have liked to have done, or you're satisfied with everything the way it went?
Oh, I've done 1,000 things that I didn't get to do. Oh, thousands, you know, because one time at Paramount, I'm up there getting my hair done. I'm under contract to Paramount Studios. I'm 23 years old, and the girl next to me gets up from the hairdryer and gets up and up and up, and it was Audrey Hepburn.
Oh wow.
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 And she was just my age.
Right.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
And charming, you want to die. I went right out and got 2 candy bars and ate them.
Oh, that's amazing. So, if people they want to get the book, Marion, where do you have a website, or they can go on
But
Amazon?
it's Barnes and Noble and Amazon, okay?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, and by the way, thank you for the books. I sent them out to the vets, and
Yes, thank
they
you. for
were
that.
very very
Thanks,
good. They were very
Thank you.
grateful. Giselle, you had a question?
Oh, yes. I was wondering if you do us the honor and saying a station ID for us.
Of course I would, of course I would.
What's that line? No.
What's that line?
What is that line? Yeah, what do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? Right.
So basically, introduce yourself and say
Well,
you're
repeat
listening.
that, darling, okay?
You're listening to the Animal House Radio Show on the Hamilton Radio Network.
Yeah, introduce yourself, and then just
You're listening to the Animal House Radio Show on the on the Hamilton Radio Network.
Hello, you're listening to the, hello, you're listening to the Animal House Network? No.
No. They gotta say your name
What's that
first, right? Say your name first.
take 2.
Hello there. This is Marion Ross, you remember from Happy Days. You are listening to Animal House on,
Hamilton Radio.
oh God. Okay. Hello, this is Marion Ross, you know, Mrs. C from Happy Days, and you're listening to Animal House on Hamilton Network.
All right. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Marion, thank you so much for the second chance. God bless you. Please, everybody,
Buy the book.
buy the book. It's called My Days. It's available on Barnes & Noble and Amazon. It's definitely a must-read, and it's practically, I think it's a bestseller,
And
isn't
it's
it?
a great Memorial Day present for Will.
Yes, happy days, my
That's
days,
right.
and it's my days, happy and otherwise.
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Bye, children.
Thank you,
Bye-bye.
dear.
Buy the book, Paul.
Thanks, Ma.
On about.
All right, we're gonna take a short break. We'll be back. We're playing more show. Don't go nowhere. This is the Animal House Radio Show. Yeah. Oh, much better.
Have any
than this.
music or anything you want to play?
Oh, yeah, hold on, I got something.
Keep your volume up, because your volume is low.
It is, I think it's this wire.
Oh, you need the wires. The thing's bent.
Peekaboo, peekaboo, smile. Smile, buddy. Come on, smile. Oh, honey, he's still not smiling.
Maybe he's not a smiler.
Yeah, maybe
Where's
he's
that
just
from?
not a happy baby.
Maybe he's just being a boy. You know how boys are.
Or maybe he's teething. Oh, poor baby, I think his gums hurt.
Maybe he's just tired.
Or maybe his tummy hurts. He
Yes,
didn't
sir.
eat that much.
Maybe he's not ticklish.
You think maybe he's scared of the dog?
Maybe he'll outgrow it. Maybe it's a phase. Maybe he just doesn't like smiling.
Maybe
Yeah.
he has autism.
Mom.
And we can definitely do something to help.
Maybe is all you need to find out more about autism.
What are you gonna do
Big,
next?
joyful smiles.
Just some fun stuff. Some fun stuff.
Honestly, I have riddles and I have my inquiring mind.
AutismSpeaks.org/signs or
See,
see
I
a
didn't
doctor
know she
today
had
for
it. I didn't
autism
see it.
I
spectrum.
know, see, you're
As soon
wrong.
as it's
Three
diagnosed,
inquiry minds. That gets us talking.
and it can make a lifetime of difference.
Comes out the story.
Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
As an 18-year-old, I let my mistakes kind of take over my life. I was
See, the
0.5 minutes
18
away from
shut up.
completing high school, and I didn't do it.
10 years
You're 18 years
later,
old, shut up.
Jackie finished her high school diploma.
When I
What a woman.
found out that I was pregnant, and I know that I had to do something for myself if I wanted to make her a
Get her
better person,
whining at
provide a
18.
better life for her.
My mistakes ruined my life.
family
You're
never
18.
stopped
Shut up.
pushing for me to be better because they knew what I could become and who I could become as a person. My
I mean, I
support
get a hold of
team
it, we'll
is
see how
amazing.
gross it gets.
Seriously.
Educational director, my
We have to
sister,
reunite you
and
with
my
that
7-year-old
Hawaiian
daughter.
chick.
She's
Yeah.
been more than the support that I could ask for. I've been given an opportunity.
Let's go, man.
I'm just thankful
She
for
lives
it.
right there. The bartender said
No
she
one
comes
gets
in
a
all the
diploma
time.
alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help.
She live in a
Find
hotel?
adult education
No,
classes near
like
you
3 blocks
at
away.
finishyourdiploma.org. That's
McDonald's?
finishyourdiploma.org.
Yeah.
Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation
DJs.
and the Ad Council.
Why is your mind always
Okay,
looking?
man. This is
Like
your
the neighbor's
time.
store.
Why do you want to go to
Maybe you
PJ's?
didn't choose this.
Why
I
not?
think you're here
No.
now.
Why?
Why would
Wednesday.
they?
You're gonna go out
Don't you
there
just want to go to City
and
Bank
be an
first?
all-star
And
caregiver.
then get
Yeah,
It's
that'd
up to
be good.
you. So what are
Pay
you
plenty of
gonna
money.
do?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You're gonna go
Keep
grocery
the
shopping,
load off.
cook, clean, be there
Go make
emotionally and
rain.
physically. You gotta dig deeper.
Moist load.
Driving to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. No, you won't. Because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever.
Steve was saying, could we
This
put
is your
like
time.
Dave's,
Zoom in on
yeah,
Dave.
like actually,
family,
could we move the
and
screen so
yourself.
like
I can't make it any closer because of the wire. That's as close as I can get.
I mean, like,
Steve said you're
not
insane.
that,
Hey,
Oh, I mean, is it
Mom,
a frame you need?
yeah, he
Hey,
said,
Mom, can we zoom this camera in a little bit?
Steve said he has a degree. You don't know what you're talking about.
Find the care guides you need at haydenarkin.org.
No, don't touch the camera, we just gotta zoom in.
you know, yeah, I think he's right.
I'm in the center, there you go.
There you
No,
go.
he wants to zoom in.
Yeah, no, that's,
That's good, he's the same
that's
height.
good, now he's
Said
trying
he was
to,
too much.
Instead, make it a tighter shot.
Just
That
a
means
little bit.
zooming in.
Well, it's tight now. Don't
well,
move.
it's better the way it is now than the way it was before.
Or is the best time, perhaps, today?
Right there.
During
Who's
a
on
disaster,
flight?
giving you
Okay.
to stay in touch with your
Got your
family.
back.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you, Don.
Make your emergency
Thanks,
plan
Paul.
today. Go to NYC.
I didn't do anything.
Ready NY or call
We
311.
did, we
Thanks,
did
Guess who I
absolutely
got? I
nothing.
scored an
Yeah,
interview.
like a good
Rob
little boy.
Paulson.
No.
Management and the Ad
Why do I
Council.
know that?
In the wake of a disaster,
Right?
what one thing can you send that will help people the most? A blanket. Attention.
Should ask her what touching an arrow she
A
likes better.
doctor. Actually,
You still have
if
that
you
song
send a
in here?
monetary donation, you
No,
send
thank
all
God.
your
No.
Ready?
Animal
Close
crackers.
your ears.
Ah.
Exactly what people affected by disaster need
Oh my
most.
god.
In the wake of a
We're coming back.
She's got a way, 650. Every time I do that, it's like,
I know.
it's like that, no, you're wrong, it's 650. It's
It's stuck in my head, all that stuff is stuck in my head that way too.
They say that car crashes happen in
I can't do anything about it. Elvis down, I can't see it the right way anymore.
The reality is that crashes happen fast. There's no time to think and no time to check if your child is in the right car seat. Car crashes are a leading killer of
15
children 1 to
seconds.
13. Are your kids in the right seat for their age and size?
I need
Don't
30.
think you know. know you know.
7
Get
seconds.
more info at
You're 14.
safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
All right, we are back here on the Animal House Radio Show.
Yay!
My friend texted me,
Everybody listen up, this is Dee Snyder from Twisted Sisters, Strangeland Celebrity Apprentice. Yeah, you know me. And you're listening to Animal House Radio on the Hamilton Network.
That's right, baby.
Woo.
Coming up soon. All right, Gisela, it's time. It's your time to shine. What do you got?
It's my time to shine, so put your sunglasses on, people. No, I'm kidding. All right, inquiring minds. Let's start with that. My first question is, you've been given the opportunity to create your own 1/2 hour TV show. What will you name it, and what will it be about? So I'm letting your minds think.
Okay, one
about
more
that.
time, repeat it.
You're giving the opportunity to create your own 1/2 hour TV show. What will you name it, and what will it be about?
Oh, wow. See, that's something.
It'll be
Okay,
called
so
The
something
Catalyst.
you-
It'll be about me doing things for everybody, and it's all different types of things, showing all my skills throughout the world.
So what is it, Pretender?
So,
Similar.
Is it kind of be like the Undercover Boss, where you make people happy within the half
Kind
hour?
of, but but more of like an overt character. Like I won't be, hiding undercover. I'll be out
Oh.
there just actually.
Out
People
in the
like,
open.
hey, Dave, what are we gonna do about this? And it's like, yeah, I just solved your problem. It's
Gotcha.
done.
I need a BJ. Don't worry about it. I got you covered.
I got you covered.
what kind of show is this?
I can lead anywhere.
On the Playboy Network.
Is this Japanese anime?
This all stems from Ed Ruffalo.
It'll become very big by word of mouth.
How did I get
It's all about the load
That's gonna
that you
take
said
some-
before.
moist load?
Yeah, it just stuck to my head.
So,
Well, that didn't sound good.
okay,
All right.
we'll
So
go-
anyway, so that was the first question. Do you want
Well,
me to
Dave,
go
Wayne,
through
you're
the
next.
questions?
No,
or-
let's stay with the one.
Go
Go ahead, then
I
answer.
don't know. I'm still thinking, so.
I would do a show that I wouldn't want to be in front of the camera. I want to be a producer. I'd like to produce a news network where it's nothing but good news.
Okay.
No negative stories. Everything's positive. Positive things people are doing for other people.
Sunshine on 23rd Street.
It's gonna be a slow network.
Well, I think it's tired. I'm tired of people getting
Oh,
hit
yeah.
with negativity.
Oh, no, I
Negativity.
agree.
I think if you give people all positivity, I think it will change everybody's mindset a little
So
bit.
positive
And they'll
facts,
change the channel.
no fake news.
What would
all
you,
all
what would
like
you call
that.
that? What would you call the channel?
Good news.
Good
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 news.
news.
Good news.
No, that's not a channel. This is a show.
It's very
Oh.
simple.
And
Have-
now, news program.
your favorite program of the week, Good News with Paul Benio.
$10 for starting a 5,000-watt studio in
With
Fresno,
John,
California.
with John Cameron Swayze.
What about you, Dave?
Welcome back, man.
Ed. Dave
Oh,
already
me?
answered. Yeah.
Yes.
Dave, Ed, we're the same person.
Dave, Ed.
It's got to be a porn show,
You
man.
can't share it.
That would be awesome, but no, that'd have to be on Playboy. I'd make the alpha, I'd call it the Alpha Male Show.
Right.
It'd be a dad with his family, and the family would always be like doting on him, like what a great dad he is and all that. And
So his father's knows better.
he would just hate them,
Yeah.
and he would just be
Married children.
sarcastic to them, and he would just throw shots at them all the time.
But the kids will love them.
And what's
Yeah,
the-
the kids would
Yeah.
just like him
Married
anyway.
with
and what's the name of the show?
Married with
The
children.
Alpha Male
The
Show.
Alpha Male Show.
No, because the kids hated him on Married with
And
Children.
meanwhile,
Thanks,
he went out-
Dad.
Did he go out and like slaughter people with axes
No,
and then went home to his mild-mannered
no, that's Friday the 13th. That was Kane Hodder.
McKinnon?
Who loved you?
Yes,
He's
apparently.
coming after you.
You loved when he said,
Yeah.
"I'll kill you," right?
Yeah,
That was cool.
I will find you, Ed Ruffalo, and I will kill you.
the guy, the greatest serial killer of our time remembers me. I'm in trouble. I gotta be nice to him.
That was funny, though.
For me, I would want to be like a secret agent with like Marvel, something along the lines of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., where like I'm invincible and I just can do, like a cloak and dagger type stuff.
What do you call it?
Yeah,
How do you spell that?
right?
Yeah, right.
Conducive.
I would probably have like a prankster show, like pranking people. And,
I like those. They're fun.
that to me is
You
always
can call
funny.
it giving them the business. That was a great idea.
That was a great idea. Me and Bob Levy came up with that idea.
What
There
time?
were about 4 of them.
9:17.
So here we go. What's the
Well,
worst?
you didn't give your answer, did you?
I just.
Oh, yeah.
Just, where were you? You didn't hear us.
You on the show this week?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, really.
I'm out.
What's the worst thing that ever happened to you while at a supermarket? It doesn't have to be worse. It could be the strangest occurrence, something.
I got nothing.
Supermarket.
Squeeze the wrong melons.
Maybe.
No, just getting behind assholes that have to still pay with checks, and it's 2018.
How about the people that go online, They go up there and then they go in, after then they go in the wallet and get the card.
Right,
credit card.
right.
They could have had it ready over.
They have to be prompted to do it. Take out your wallet.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, put your hands up in the air, get against the wall. It's like, you gotta, they just don't have nothing ready. I'm over there like I'm on Red Bull. Here, get me out of here.
How many people on Express Line have more than 20 things?
If I'm like 3 or 4 deep, I'm throwing the dollars at them. Here, put this on my account. I'll be right there. So, yeah, that's the...
I've actually said that a couple times on Express Line. I said, this is the Express Line?
Yeah, really.
Did you go up and could you tell me where the true face is? Dave, what about you?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
Some girl was roping you in the frozen food aisle?
I like that.
Just grabbing his
Repeat the
keys.
question. Let me think about that.
Go
What was,
ahead.
what was that question again?
How do people get back to our people?
Turn out the girl had a penis.
The worst thing that ever happened to you while in a supermarket. Go ahead.
Actually, no, it never happened to me, but my grandmother used to have a habit of finding people she didn't like, which is freaking often.
People she didn't want to see, in other words?
Oh, no, just people that she just didn't like the look of.
Oh,
And like when they were like, going to pick stuff at something out of the aisle, she would knock stuff, like bigger cans on top of them.
Oh, wow.
And hit them with it, which was hysterical to me as a child.
Right.
And she was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm an old woman. I didn't mean that," and just start walking away
Oh,
laughing.
my goodness.
I thought
That's
you meant
good.
like people that like a nosy neighbor that she didn't want to see that wouldn't shut up.
She would do that to them too, but it didn't have to be people she knew.
Oh, okay.
It just had to be somebody she didn't like on sight.
Watch out for the lady in the canned food aisle. She's a nut.
Watch out for the old deaf lady. She's gonna drop something on you.
I can tell you something funny that might happen to my sister.
Go ahead.
My sister came out of the parking lot of the supermarket and she
Yeah,
saw
by
her
a
friend
chicken
getting into
truck?
a car. She said, no, saw her friend getting into a car. So she sneak up on it. So when the woman's getting ready to pull away out of the parking spot, she dives on the hood. It wasn't her friend.
Oh, my
It
God.
scared the hell out of her.
I would have just stood there. You give me your car.
Oh, my God.
Ed?
I was walking through the store.
And they were out of food?
What kind of grocery store runs out of food?
Anyone that's near your house.
It's true. Don't be jealous. I have a monopoly on food.
So what happened? You were walking?
We were walking through. I had my daughter. She was about 3 or 4 years old at the time.
Right.
She grabbed a bottle of 409 off the shelf,
Ooh.
and the bottles were all, for whatever reason, these imbeciles put them on the shelf. There's like 4 or 5 of them that were cracked.
Right.
When
Somebody
she
doesn't
grabbed
like
it,
these
the
cans.
four-
They're shooting them up.
They're shooting the cans! Get away from these cans! She grabbed the 409, and when she did it, squirted her in the eye.
Oh.
Fortunately, I was smart enough, unlike my ex-wife, who went into shock and a panic. I grabbed my daughter and ran her to the bakery,
Right.
and I stuck her face under the faucet.
Right.
Force a habit, though? To run to a bakery?
Yeah. When in doubt, you go to a bakery for help.
A bakery?
Where else would you go for help?
He's got his daughter under the water. He's eating an eclair.
No, but
Yeah.
that's funny because you would think to run to the bathroom, but the bakery, you figured they had...
Well, the bakery was closer than the bathroom. The bathroom was on the other end of the store.
Right. He's right
And the
there.
bakery was like from here to Gino.
Yeah, he just
Right.
wanted a faucet.
So I ran her
Was
in.
she scarred from it at all?
No, she was fine from it. It didn't do anything. They gave us like a $100 gift card for the store,
Oh, wow.
and they
That's
gave
nice.
they gave us some other stuff.
At the
and
taxi came in the
You should take
409.
Jay there and put some water in it and spray him in the eyes and say, hey, where's my gift card?
Nah, Jay's too honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, my son Dante is like that. Joseph is 12 and 11 and under for the badges on Seaside. So if we go there this year, he looks young enough to pass for 11.
Right.
So if they ask, how old is one of your sons, and we say 11, and Jonathan goes, no man, he's 12. Like he rats you right out. He tells
That's
you like
terrible. See, I don't know what it is with these kids today. We were kids.
They're not
We lied to
street
everybody.
smart.
They have no, they're weak-willed. They're
Yeah. I ran over somebody with my bike.
That they're liberal brainwashing at these schools. That's what it is.
We do like John Belushi. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, and the dude was like, "What?" I crashed. I remember I was on my bike. I crashed into this kid's door, which it was his fault. He swung his door open in the middle of traffic. But I smack into his door, and he goes to me. He goes, "Oh, what's your name?" I said, "I don't know what my name is. I have no idea what my name is."
I
Said,
gotta meet you.
What's your phone number? I don't even know if I have a phone.
He should come here. We have a lot of open doors.
Yeah, ton of open doors here.
Every guest
Paul,
gets
all
one door.
right. Well, I'll use a different pleasantry. That makes you happy. Go get hit by a chicken truck.
Chicken coop.
Gisela, what happened?
Well, the worst thing that happened to me, I was on the other side of the supermarket. I was the cashier, and I used to work in a Jewish neighborhood. And believe it or not, they would come and pay with pennies. And they would come with
There's a shock.
a little, like, their coffee jar, and
Coffee
they would
can,
be all pennies, and they literally, I would have to, like, count every single
And then
penny.
you have to run the titty bank.
Oh my God, there was no titty bank at the time.
Yeah.
It was really horrible.
That's all right. Those girls at Titty Bank really don't
You know,
like
that
all
was
those
really,
change.
that
They
sucked,
hate when you throw loose change
Yeah.
at them.
you know?
They like dollars.
They should have done away with pennies a long time ago. Round everything off to the nearest.
Can't.
It was
Years
nuts.
ago. They should-
You can't.
My mother worked for
I know.
Pathmark for like.
It costs more to make a penny than it is half a penny.
Oh
My mother
God.
worked for Pathmark for 40
Yeah, but it
years.
saves you enough money.
And
that is
she
worth a
said
penny.
customer service is the worst. You
Yeah.
meet this. My mother says that.
Your mother was in customer service?
Yeah, she was like, you know, the courtesy booth and all
Can you
that.
imagine
I can
her?
imagine. That's
So
funny.
she said she called all the. She said, you know that when you make chicken soup and the scum floats to the top. She goes, that's what these people are. It was just so funny the way she carried her.
I can imagine what she was like though, as in the complaint
Never.
department. That must have been great.
One time a guy got mad, and it actually turned out to be one of my friend's fathers, Joe Cafaso's dad. He didn't speak much English, so he was trying to talk to her and tell her that he was looking for a rain check. So he took the mayonnaise jar and slammed it on the counter, and the mayonnaise went all over my mother. It was so funny. Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. All right. Now here's a funny one for most of us parents, or if you're you could be on the other end of this. But what is the strangest punishment that you ever gave a child, or that you ever received as a child?
I understand.
And
Strange.
it's so strange that it just might work. Like something like way off the wall.
Mine wasn't strange. It was just, it taught me a hell of a lesson. I used to have a thing when I was a little kid. When the street lights come in, within 5 minutes I better be home.
Exactly.
And if I'm not, I'm going to be punished. Now I was always a good kid. I never really got punished hardly at all. 'Cause I really was a good kid. I really was. One time I was hanging out, and I got home like a half hour later after the lights went on. My father said, I told you, now you're going to be punished. I was punished. My punishment was I couldn't go outside and play with my friends every day for the rest of the summer.
Aww.
And I sat in the window. I sat
Watching.
looking out the window, watch my friends play every day.
Aw, that's harsh.
It was
But you
harsh.
learned a lesson.
I never came in late again.
Right.
That's a little harsh.
That was harsh.
It taught me a lesson. I never did it again. My father never hit me or anything like that.
No.
It's okay. This is what you're gonna get. What's that?
Gisela, what about you?
Oh, punishment wise?
Either way you go, just go right back.
That's a tough one for me.
Go right
That's
back.
something low. Come back to me for that one. I have to think about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Number 4.
My father had no patience. He was a short-tempered guy, and he hated stupidity. He hated anything to do that would, he was definitely an alpha male all the way. You have to show strong all the time. And my grandmother one Christmas gave me a construction helmet with a siren on the top. And you would put batteries in it, and you would walk around the house. It was just a regular yellow construction helmet with a siren on it.
Right.
And I put it on, and I guess I was a kid. I liked the toy, and I would just run around the house with it. And he got so infuriated. He says I looked so stupid. I don't want to say the other word because it offends people. The R word. And
Ridiculous?
You look rapey?
No, he said
Aristophanes?
Yeah. Meat.
Ridiculous.
Meat. And he just got so mad that he waited. He goes, get it off. He looks like a weirdo. And he smacked it off my head.
Lead?
Graphite.
Everybody knows they make the pencil with graphite.
Aristophanes very.
What about you, Ed?
I don't know. I don't really remember anything.
Did you ever punish your children like that?
I never really had to. My kids are usually pretty good.
Really? You, of all people, the scourge of Lyndhurst?
Yeah.
That sounds like a script right there.
Yeah, I really didn't have to do much with my kids listen.
And you never got punished? Like in a
Lyndhurst.
craziness?
My father was usually too drunk to punish anybody.
There we go.
In order to punish someone, my mother would have had to get off the couch.
He used to have to clean up their vomit after they got drunk.
No, my father would. The only thing my father ever did drunk, as far as that, is he peed in the closet once instead of the bathroom.
Well, they used to call the bathrooms water closets, but a long time ago.
But he peed inside his toolbox, so that was his problem.
The toolbox? Why are my tools all rusty?
Yeah.
Hey, Edward, get over here.
It's water, though.
Speaking of urine, gee, didn't you have a problem with urine?
Not me.
You
Cousin.
No, you didn't want to clean up the urine and then you got thrown out of the house.
Don't even.
All right, Dave, you're up.
I gave her the book. She's fine.
She doesn't even know you're here.
That's like catnip. Don't worry about it. I'm sorry, but I had to clean up the urine. What happened? She wanted you to give her a golden shower and you refused? Is that what happened?
Oh my God. All right, Dave, you're next.
Made it into the garbage can?
We love you, Sandy. You and Gene are like Ozzy and Harry to us.
Well, maybe Mr. and Mrs. Munster.
Mr. and Mrs. Roper.
Show me the money if you can. Yeah, let's get Don my rear on the phone. We're calling right now. Susie Yango said 9:30 sharp.
Oh, okay.
Good.
All right, I'll wait.
Hello. Hi, is this Dom?
Pardon me?
Dom?
It's not Dom. Dom Herrera.
Oh, you called the wrong number.
No, wrong number.
So I'm sorry. Boy, Dom's voice got really high.
Gene, you couldn't.
Did you?
Way to go, Gene.
Wait, you didn't just call Marion Ross
Yeah,
again?
she did. She did.
Oh my God, that was her, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very nice.
Okay. See, guys, this is all
Good thing
bloopers
she
while
knew Dom
we're
Herrera
at the
was.
show. Live bloopers here on Animal House
That's
Radio.
funny.
And she's the one that's 89.
It's okay. Papa Smurf has
Oh,
his
no,
moments.
We're going to do a makeover next week.
I think we should have Mary Ross on the board.
We're going to get you some deodorant. You all right dialing the phone? You want me to get some monkeys from the zoo to come over and church?
She needs stronger glasses. Stronger
So-
glasses, Gene.
All right, Dave, you tell your story while they're.
He needs
Go ahead.
Valium. Would you like a Valium? Shall I cough on you, George?
You
ever seen an outbreak
know,
movie with Dustin Hoffman? Shall I cough on you, George? Oh, here's the information.
Yeah, we right on the bus. Look at that. Right on the right there in the nose.
He taunted a 90-year-old.
For the love of God.
There we go.
Let me just see.
Hello, you've reached the Crown Royal Plaza.
Hey,
It's in the bathroom.
Joe, give this, make sure that he's got the right number. Give that to Gene.
Give this to Gene.
The Billie Jean.
Pass it down.
Sandy, would you please?
Oh,
Put the book down for a second. We used to have an intern.
this is like take one, pass it down. Thank
It's
you.
like a fire line.
Yeah, it's her fault. You can't dial 7 numbers.
So while we're waiting, let's go to Dave to see what his story is for punishment.
Oh, yeah.
Something?
Creative. My son. The worst thing I ever did, I took the Xbox away when he doesn't do his homework. And
That's fine. That's
Yeah,
smart.
that's normal.
Yeah. It's
And it
good.
drives them up the wall, no?
Yeah, but for me, I was kind of a wise ass, if you haven't noticed, as a kid. And right before one of my birthdays, my mom said, "You keep it up, I'm gonna cancel your damn party."
Oh, wow.
So instead, to spite me, she didn't cancel the party. She had my friends and family come by and let everybody hang out and eat all the food, and I had to sit in my room.
Oh.
That's even worse. Wow. Double whammy.
Everybody had a good time.
All right.
Same number.
All right, give me the phone.
Wait, so first was Big Petey, that was Reed Petey.
Wow.
Where's
Oh,
Little
that's
Pete?
hard. That's really like the salt in the wound there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I
My
was
mom was good for that.
I was the same as Paul. Like, I had to be in
How's
by
the
a
book
certain
so far,
time.
Sandy? Good?
And I liked this young man that lives around the corner from my house.
Right.
So I wasn't really allowed to like talk to boys, but I was 13 at the time, and I was talking to this boy that I really liked, and I should have been home at this time, but I was walking home from I used to babysit, and I had to be home at a certain time, and so anyway, I got stuck talking to this boy. My mother goes on the roof of my building, sees me talking to the boy around the corner, starts yelling really loud my name and waving her hands, and the boy turns around and he says, "Do you see that lady on the roof?" And I says, "No, I have no idea who she is. I don't see what you're talking about." I said, "But I gotta go." So I walked home so fast, but by the time I got to the front door, my mother came down 3 flights of stairs, grabbed me by my hair, and beat the crap out of me.
Oh, wow.
So there it goes. Don't
Tough
talk
one.
to the boy around the
Tough-
corner. Oh, she was a
tough love.
cookie. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm just waiting. I'll get to the bottom of it.
I don't know, but Douglas says Pete and Repeat, they were on a boat. Pete fell out.
Who's left?
I don't know. He didn't finish the story.
Repeat.
I know.
Well, I'm assuming he's what's today? Today's
Wednesday.
Yeah, where's the
Is
area
it
code?
Wednesday?
Don't tell me the number, where's the area code?
It's out in California, it's in California.
Oh, okay, so he's not even in yet, okay.
And the strangest thing I did to my child,
Doesn't mean
my daughter
Maybe we should
always
make California time.
always was asking, you know, we lived in Staten Island, people were entitled there, and she wanted things I probably couldn't afford to give her.
Right.
And she would make me feel really bad about it. So one day I said, you know what, I had enough. I drove her to this beautiful mansion. I said, get out. She's like, what? I go, get out. I said, you're not happy with me. Go knock on their door. Obviously, they can give you things I can't. Get out and go. And ask them to be your parents because you're not happy with us. And she was quite, no, mommy, I love you. But that was the craziest, weirdest thing I ever did to her, to make her
So she has new
understand.
parents.
No,
Yeah,
she didn't
she's
want
living
them.
She's living in Canarsie now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Imagine. Actually drove to Nicolosi Drive.
There you
I
go.
like that.
Yeah.
It's my favorite stream song.
I was like, oh.
Do you have any more questions or riddles?
Do you think maybe he thinks it's only 6:30 in California?
Yeah, but he might, it doesn't mean he's in California, just because the
So
number
Douglas
said
said he got the joke
Probably
from
is.
Monk, written by Lee Goldberg.
that. Lee Goldberg, isn't that the weather guy?
Yeah, but also it's nephew of Rube Goldberg.
How about Ruben Rodriguez?
Ruby Rodriguez.
You got riddles, John?
I do have riddles.
Riddle me this.
All right, ready for this? Riddle me this. 2 children were playing checkers. All right, each player 5 games. Both children won the same number of games. Yet there were no ties. How is this possible?
Siamese twins.
I'm gonna have the energy for this one.
They each won 5 games.
Say it again. It's very
2
confusing.
children were
Right.
playing checkers, and each player played 5 games. Both children won the same number of games, yet there were no ties. How is this possible?
They both won 5 games. They played by themselves.
You close.
They play different people.
They weren't playing each other. Very good.
Yes.
There you go.
Ding, ding, ding. Okay.
Sometimes it's the most simplest answer.
I know, right? Okay,
They
now,
were playing with themselves. I mean,
Yes.
different people.
Yeah.
Can you blame them?
can you point
You
them?
have a choice. Play with yourself, play checkers.
Yeah, I could do both.
Exactly. You can. But then the things.
You gotta see what
get
happens to the
sticky.
king. Yeah.
Yeah, they don't move too well.
Okay. It's light as
Crown me! Crown me, I say!
I prefer chess. You can play with the queen.
I love chess.
it's light as a
Just
feather,
All jump queen.
yet no man can hold it for long. What is it?
It's an orgasm.
Was it penis?
It's light as a feather, yet no man can hold it for a long time. What is it?
Hold it. His breath.
Very good. Ding, ding, ding. That's 2. I don't know, but Douglas is saying Lee was the screenwriter of Monk and Diagnosis Murder, his uncle of Burl Barra. I don't understand, but I'm going to say what he's right.
My friend answered the right question. He said they didn't play each other.
Oh, they didn't play each other?
Right.
He's right.
How many bananas can you eat if your stomach is empty?
All of them. All of them.
What is this question?
How many bananas can you eat if your stomach is empty?
How many are there?
None.
All of them.
Your stomach's
That's
empty.
right, all
You
of
eat
them.
none.
All of them.
And how many bananas can you eat?
If your stomach is empty.
As many as you
I don't get it.
I saw
All
a
right.
girl put a couple in her mouth.
Just one, because after you eat
She won
one,
that
your
night.
stomach is not empty anymore.
That girl won the contest.
What if he eat more than one at once?
Well, then you're a little magical
Then
fella,
you're
aren't
special.
you? You're a special little boy, aren't you? No.
You have a special talent.
You have a
What if
gift.
I got diarrhea and it passes right through me?
That's
Ooh.
good. Then you have to eat more because your stomach is going to be empty.
But then the answer isn't 1.
I don't get the question.
Then
The
it's
question's
not.
kind of, it's some
It's a trick.
information missing in this one.
It's a very
Gee,
tricky
try that
one.
number one more time.
It's missing information, this one.
All right. What jumps higher than a building?
Everything.
Very good. See, I made them easy this time because last time you guys were just not getting it.
I still don't get them. Half of them.
But it's better.
I actually, riddles are kind of
God.
things I have to think about for a while. I
That's
can't do
true.
it on this kind of format.
He's blocking a number?
I'm telling you, he thinks it's at 9:30. It's his time.
Why?
Not me, he's walking. Whoever.
Yeah.
Okay, what is something you have
I'm
that
just
you always
off.
leave behind?
I'm just
What's that?
My house.
What is something you have that you always leave behind?
My house.
My ass.
Your shadow.
Mm-mm.
What is
Your
it?
presence.
Mm-mm. Something you have but you always leave behind.
Ex-wife.
Dead hooker.
No, I take that with me.
Duct tape.
Duct tape.
That comes with me too.
Your butt.
Yeah.
What is always with you? Was it?
Yeah, something you always have but you leave behind.
Personality,
Butane,
your attitude,
flatulence.
your, that would work.
Anybody on Facebook want to guess this?
Yeah.
Something you have but always leave behind.
Herpes, hemorrhoids.
Let me give the 60 minutes worth.
Your past.
Let's see if anybody on Facebook answers this. Can we give them a prize, Carlos?
Anybody got it?
I don't have any prizes, but what you think of something.
Clock is ticking down, let's go.
Sandy, do you know the answer? Can you try to do it?
Can you look it up, please?
What'd you say?
Your influence.
No.
Leave behind.
Something that's always with you. With the
Michael says your memory. No, but
Child
good try.
Good sense.
Are we on the right
a
track?
scent. How about your scent?
Something that you always have
Tracks.
and you'll always leave behind.
Skin,
You're very close. What's
Yeah.
on your skin?
hair.
Fingerprints.
Follicles.
Fingerprints. Very good.
Ah.
No,
But all those answers are correct.
If I burn them off, then I don't have.
All those answers are correct, though.
If you say so.
They are. You leave hair. You always leave hair behind. You always leave skin
It's
behind.
true.
So
All right.
they're all right. All three questions.
What breaks on the water but never on land?
Waves.
Very good. See, that was good. So you got that one.
Well, that one.
It was easy.
That's
I
an
know.
easy one.
I tried to do it easy this time because last time you guys.
Yeah,
were
last time we
just
were like,
not-
oh, I don't know.
We're not thinking.
I didn't want my animals to seem like
I don't know how to close the door.
I don't know.
Let me turn the light on.
Julie said she leaves her undies behind.
What's that address?
Did you, it
Julie,
says it's
you
not-
want to
I'm coming.
inbox us your
Australia.
address?
Australia, I'm coming.
It says it's not leaving, it's not accepting block numbers?
Right.
Oh, something like that.
So anything he doesn't recognize on his phone is not going to
Right.
open up on.
Coming up as-
He obviously gave you a cell phone number.
Your number, not my number, right?
All right, try it again. All right, try again.
Because if at first you
Quick.
don't succeed, Gene, try again.
Oh, I'll try all night, this, you know.
All right.
Yeah. He doesn't give up. He'll try all night.
That's the idea.
All right, try
That's
it.
why he's still married.
No matter how many times Sandy turns them down.
That's why they're still married.
And that's where the golden shower came in place.
Does that mean you have to dial star 82?
That might be Dom's mom.
Try to do star 82 and then dial this number. I don't know.
Sorry,
What was Starry 2 doing?
I don't know. That's what it
That's what I
says.
just said.
That's what it said.
Okay, try it then.
It might show him the number,
Right.
so it's not like some psychotic fan from a crazed radio
In
show.
Philadelphia.
That's a good one, Mike. If at first you don't succeed, blame Carlo.
You're sorry, too.
That's it. Can't win, don't try.
That's it. So let's go back to the Carlo story. So
Which
now,
one?
about him
Nothing,
working.
sorry, too.
In all honesty,
Oh, no, don't start.
no,
Don't
no,
get
no, no.
it.
I'm not going to answer this. He wants to know everybody else that he knows how I feel about it.
No, that's
So,
the number.
what do you guys feel about it? On a serious
On a
note,
serious note, my opinion would be, you're both right. He was right for being upset. He was right for going to the manager and saying what he had to say. But I would stick to what the manager said. 10%, that's what I get. I understand what you're saying. It's your friends and stuff, and they're spending a lot of money. But it's not my business.
It wasn't, but it wasn't just them having dinner. This was his kid's confirmation
Right.
party. The night was ruined.
I know. I understand that. Well, that's their business. The difference is they lose the business, not you.
exactly.
It's not working.
All right, what about you, Ed? What do you feel about this?
What do I feel? I feel that the establishment is a dump.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Anybody who has to sit around for 2 hours, I would have took a shit right in the middle of the table. I got to sit there for 2 hours waiting for my food. Carla was 100% right. I would have comped them the meals, and I would have quit and told the guy to stuff it up his ass.
Okay.
Because they're a
Yeah,
shitty, it's a shitty restaurant. It's a crummy way to do business, and Carlo shouldn't be working there. There's better establishments to go work.
Ladies and gentlemen, the diplomatic.
That was it. What about you, guys?
I gotta agree with everybody here. Like,
Yes, they're both.
Carlo's right for trying to defend. What's
Way to
right.
have an opinion, Dave.
It is an opinion.
I agree with everyone.
I do.
He's right, though. That's why.
No, but in your
Say what?
professional opinion,
I'm
what
finished.
how would you?
Professional opinion, the customer should have got better service.
Right.
However, it isn't Carlo's establishment. You have to listen to the boss,
Right.
the owner, the boss.
Right. They'll
Screw
never go there again. The establishment loses.
I won't want to work there because it reflects on you working there.
Exactly.
And they're obviously, they're obviously crummy friggin' owners,
He could,
and their place is gonna go out of
but he
business
could have
soon
went to his
anyway.
friend, he could went to his friends, I'm quitting because this place is not, you see what's going on here.
Right.
I was gonna
And it's not his fault.
I've been telling.
They know that.
Leading up to that incident, I was getting ready to
I mean,
bail
I have to say his friends were really nice
My friend
about
wrote
it.
about you.
Carlo was very apologetic. I was there, I witnessed. And they said it's not your fault, Carlo. They understood that you did not represent the treatment they
Someone
were
trying to do
receiving
better
and
in
the
the
food
future.
and all that stuff. That wasn't on
Someone
you.
trying to do better in the future.
You
So,
know, it just rubbed me the wrong way because there's other servers.
Wait, somebody rubbed you?
Well, there's
it's
a
the
couple
wrong
other
way.
workers there that were a little jealous, so they spited and they ran to the computer and because they had big tables, they ran in and typed in their stuff fast so they can get better service.
Well, you did the right thing, you got out of there.
You know, so.
You did the right thing, but as far as it's both sides, it really is both, it really is. I understand why you did what you did, but the place is gonna lose the business. not you.
Exactly.
They know it wasn't you.
Right.
you know, and everybody knows the customer is always right. So the way the upper management chose to handle it, it was really on them,
Exactly.
ultimately.
Do you think
You
that
know?
well, besides the fact of me taking liberties, do you think that was fair that what they offered them?
That
No,
I'm gonna,
no,
that
not
I'm
at
gonna
all.
agree with you 100%. So
Okay.
I believe they handled it incorrectly from the
Right.
beginning, but I don't believe it was your place to correct their mistakes.
Somebody had to correct them.
And we wound up losing to go to pizza night at Janet and Frank.
Yeah, Janet's very hurt that we never came back to the house. Kind of ruins my evening as well, but
And what would you have actually said word for word to the owner?
you would say go fuck your mother. No.
I want to hear what I want to hear what that's
Shut up your ass! Oh, you're asking the other way, I'm sorry.
Me, I wouldn't have cared. I wouldn't have worked in that industry.
Yeah, it's a hard news.
Last thing I want to do is serve anybody food. I'd throw it
Be
at
nice
them.
to them.
Yeah.
You should open a place, open your own place, Ed's place, it'd be nice.
Oh yeah, that'd be great.
It'd be like, have you ever been to that chain Dick's?
Yes, I've seen the videos of it, they insult you. And
Yeah, the whole time.
And you know the funny
That sounds
thing,
like a place that Ed would love working.
I know.
we should have recorded the evening though, because when Carlos says the music in the background was someone screaming, it really wasn't. It was someone singing, but like having an orgasm in the background. It's bad.
I think he's calling now, okay.
All right, bring them up when you're ready. Can you turn it up a little bit?
Here we go.
Hello, Dom.
Hey, Carlos.
Hey, how are you?
Oh.
Good, how you doing?
All right, sorry about the technical glitch. All right, everybody, it is 9:45. Joining us now on the phone is a legendary comedian. The man is one of the funniest men I've ever had the pleasure to meet and work with. Joining us now live on the Animal House Radio Show. Please give it up for Mr. Dom Irrera.
Yeah.
Legendary my ass.
Yeah, sounds like your brother, right?
So where do we get your ass? No.
Dom, thanks for taking the time. I'm looking forward to seeing you this weekend at Catch a Rising Star. I got to tell you a quick story of how I actually first met you. Years ago, when I was first starting out, when MySpace was like the big thing, and you were one of my friends on MySpace, and I was looking to write some material. So a friend of mine says, "Oh, listen, I have experience writing, and I could write you some stuff." And he says, "Oh," I said, "Okay." I gave him a couple of bucks. He wrote me some stuff. So I go over to an open mic. I tried it out, and one of my friends, a comedian, her name is Robin Fox. She comes up and goes, "You know, I love you to death." She goes, "But I do have to tell you, one of the jokes you did was not yours." I said, "Well, I just had it written for me." She goes, "Honey, I'm sorry, but that's Dom Irrera's joke." And it was the one where, up until the time I was 10 years old, I thought my name was "Shut Up and Eat This" or some, one of those jokes like that. And so I got so upset, I messaged you on MySpace, and I told you the whole story, and you go, word for word, you said, "Thanks for letting me know. With integrity like that, you're in the wrong business."
Well, actually, that was your joke. I stole it off you.
I gotta say something, Dom, this is Paul Veneer, remember me, Dom?
Yeah, are you serious?
Yes, it's me, how you doing, buddy?
Well, I remember you.
I know, I'm just busting your chops. It's always good to see you.
Because I became a much bigger actor.
You did, man, you did.
Well, don't worry,
Such great times at the Improv days, man. Such great, I missed that place.
Oh, I still remember some of your bits, but I can't do any of them on the air.
I gotta tell you, one of my favorite things, Dom and I and my wife Lori and Dom's ex-wife Lisa, we went out to dinner at a Japanese restaurant in LA, and you got me in trouble on purpose. It was the funniest thing. Right before the waitress coming over, he goes, "I just have a little thing I do here. It's a habit that I do. It's a general rule that every time the waitress, I always bang the waitress after the dinner." Now I'm the only one laughing. I'm dying laughing at the table like an idiot. She comes over, and everybody's sitting there with a straight face talking. I look like a fucking ass. I'm sitting there laughing my head off. Set me up. That's always,
You said that, or
Yeah, you can say what you want, man.
Yeah, we're uncensored. Here.
Uncensored.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just to let you know that the show is being broadcast around the world to all our men and women overseas in the military of all the bases. So, in a way, in some small way, right now we're entertaining the troops down.
Oh, cool. I was just writing a joke about my brother Joe, who was like a colonel, but really like almost a general, which used to crack me up. Like it's so funny, like these guys, with how brave they are and how they don't understand. He says to me, "Man, I could never do what you do." He says, "Flying in those small planes, you gotta." I said, "Joe, you go to war, you get shot at."
Yeah, really.
He goes, "Oh, yeah, that's my job." "Oh, well, then this is my job. What are you kidding?" I told him, I said, "Joe, I'd be right alongside you fighting. Wasn't for the simple fact that I get panic attacks when I get shot at. Other than that, I'd be there for you."
Oh my God. Hey Dom, for the younger generation who may not know you, but I don't think there is anybody who wouldn't.
Speaking of the younger generation, I got a new girlfriend. I can't believe I'm with her. When she's asleep, I look at her and go, "Oh wow." Anyway, go ahead.
I wanted to want to walk back a little bit. How did Dom Irera know that he wanted to be a comedian? What was it for you that said, "This is what I got to do"?
This is a true story. I love when comedians say true story. I got something funny made up. I actually, in first grade, the nun was trying to intimidate me. So she said, "You think you're so funny? Why don't you get down to the 8th grade?" And I said, "I'm like, all right." And I wait, and first of all, I was so small, the desks were like at my eyebrow level. And they were laughing, and I thought, it just messed her up. She was so pissed off. And I thought to myself, I just knew I wanted to be a comedian after that because, first of all, I had to work clean. It was a Catholic school,
Right.
and it just felt natural,
Oh wow.
I just think here's the thing. I can't do anything else. I mean, I'm like friends of mine said, "What would you do if you weren't a comedian?" I like teaching school. I like kids. I hated getting up in the morning. But other than that, I can't do anything. I don't have a toolbox. I don't have anything.
Right, right.
Well,
There's a lot of love for you people, the little people, the scum and the vermin.
who was your influences comedically?
Well, I liked Woody Allen when I was a kid.
Oh,
I used to like his writing. I didn't know anything about his sex life at the time, but if you watch some of those movies, you could see how creepy he could be. He was definitely a big influence on me, even though you never think of me and him in any way together, but just his writing was so brilliant.
Oh, wow.
Well, you were like the two, Dom, in the improv, man. You always be at the bar writing stuff down in the book. You always had a book with your writing stuff down all the time.
Well, I mean, if you don't get better, you get worse.
Right.
I give you a lecture on comedy. I mean, you
Right.
gotta do it.
Right.
People say, "Why do you go? Didn't you already make it?" I go, "Why are you doing 3 or 4 spots a week?" I go, "Because what are we gonna do? I mean, it's not gonna get better. It's not one of those things. Well, take a rest."
Right.
Feel better. Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know how much time I have to do this weekend, but it's probably 45 or an hour,
Right.
But I mean, I don't do that every week. I do it like maybe 2 times a month. So those other 2 weeks, I gotta practice.
Right.
I gotta practice my little joke monkey art.
You know what? It's funny.
Throw over the place, cursing and whatnot.
Yeah, you're so right because I was hanging out with Ron White. We were hanging out on his tour bus, and he was telling me, when I'm not on the road, I Uber down because he lives in California. I Uber down to the Comedy Store or wherever, and I do a spot.
I never Uber with the amount he drinks.
Right, exactly.
And he says I do spots almost every night. I says why? I says you're seasoned. He goes, it's all about chops, man. You got to keep going. And he was right.
Hey, here's a good moment for you. Right, we're talking about comedy and Dom Irera and all this stuff. I gotta turn down my bathtub water because I don't want it to overflow.
Don't drop the toaster in there.
I'm taking one of those 6 baths. These hemorrhoids are killing me.
Oh my God!
We ran into a friend of ours about 2 weeks ago. John Mendoza was opening up for Howie Mandel. In New Jersey.
I knew he was doing that. I love those guys.
Yeah.
Hey, are you still married?
Yes, me and Lori still together. Yeah.
Oh, good, man. It's a hard question after all these years.
Well, she has astigmatism.
I had to ask her. I always liked both you guys, but I just, I was hoping it was a happy ending.
Yeah, well, it's not ending yet. Unless she knows something I don't know.
Happy ending to the conversation. I don't want to get one of these who I don't want to talk about her. Forget it.
No, we're still together, Dom, because she has astigmatism.
Well, she was, you know what's good about that? She was clearly way hot for you, so
That's
it
right.
wasn't like you were nervous about it.
Oh my God.
That's too funny.
Hey Don, when it came to your material, did you get most of it from like real life stuff, or did you actually have to sit down and think of like bits?
Well, yeah, it's really hard to do that for me. I'm not really a writer. I'm better at improvising than trying to write after it was already improvised. But I don't know. I mean, some things just came out. Remember that joke that I did that they let me do in The Big Lebowski of my Uncle Joe?
Yeah.
Remember that? That really was almost verbatim what happened. Like, Uncle Joe, how you doing? My wife's a pain in the ears. My daughter's always busting my balls. He names about 10 things, and he goes, you know me, I can't complain. I always complain. So that kind of stuff writes itself, but
Yeah.
that comes along once in a while.
It's also your delivery too. You have a great delivery with your material. That's you have the formula, the material with the person on stage, the stage persona with the delivery. And that's what works.
You know, I said to this kid that asked me at the improv one night, he goes, how do you get on the Tonight Show? I said, well, it's kind of a pain, you know, like you got to write these short sets and 5 minutes, it's got to be clean. And he goes, you got to write? I go, what do you think? You get your uncle to call up the president of show business, and you got to write.
Oh my
I'm so shocked that he had to do something like there's always a way, you know. You kiss this guy there, you get on the show. It's always that way.
I know this guy, he got me on.
Oh, by the way, I got killed. Oh, I guess I shouldn't say this. I'm on this show called I'm Dying Up Here.
Oh yeah,
This Wednesday night.
love it.
And my character, I'm going to get in trouble saying, you know, character passed away. I won't say what happened.
Okay.
What a drag being a corpse for 2 weeks. Everybody says, oh, it's easy, you don't have any lines. Try laying there and having people crying over you. And you're thinking, wow, this could really be like when I'm dead.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh my God.
You could be like,
It's like Weekend at Bernie's.
yeah, you could be the new Bernie, man.
Yeah. That was the
that's
best
right.
character.
Hey Don, you've obviously conquered the comedy world. Is there anything else that you'd want to do? Do you want to do more acting or anything that you feel you haven't done yet?
No, I just want to acquire more material things and less human relationships.
I agree.
There's really nothing. You know, one thing that's great about being my age is I really don't care. You know, I mean, I only care in the sense like I want the audience to have a good time on, but I don't.
Right.
I really don't. I wouldn't even want a series now. And that's not sour grapes or anything, but I don't want to work that much.
Right.
I like being a recurring character. I like doing stand up. Like this weekend will be fun because I'm going to a new place.
Right.
And you know, a different area and that kind of thing, and still in New Jersey though. But I mean, that gets me excited. But there's nothing I really want now.
Right.
Honestly, you know.
Right.
It's amazing.
Like, why don't you write a treatment at that? You know, I don't want to write a treatment. You write a treatment. I'd rather go to the Jimmy's Clam Bar and do some stand up.
Yeah.
There you go.
You're right. You know what's funny? I was talking to Bruce Campbell, and he said, you know what? It's when you're the lead, it's a lot more pressure on you. But if you're doing a recurring character, you go in, you do your thing, and you go home. And it's, you know what I'm saying? It's just as fulfilling, especially at this point in your career.
Well, the money is a big difference. If you need that kind of money, then it's cool. But I don't really need anything anymore.
Right.
I mean, I just like doing it.
Right.
You know?
And the new place
I hope I turn this interview into my life.
No, you know what?
Hey, we had Don Barrera. He's funny. That's funny. He was a drag. When he got off the phone, we were all sobbing.
No, but the place you're going to this weekend is a nice place. It's right on the water. It's very they just took it over under new management. It's a beautiful place, and I know
they're gonna love you.
Everybody loves you, and you're gonna crush it. I have no.
And what's really good about it, it's really intimate, so everybody's really close. So it's really great. You're gonna love it.
See, I like that.
Me too. Me too.
You know, I mean, I play like the biggest room I play is 2,000, and it's not, you know,
it's not the same.
It's not intimate. I asked them to turn the lights up a little so I could see the human beings out there.
Exactly.
You know, because did you ever do a gig where the lights in your eyes so bad you don't see anything?
No, you you feel like you're under a microscope. It's horrible. I don't like that at all.
That's just like acting. Like, I'd rather like it really. I had a moment a couple weeks ago. We got a second for me to tell you this?
We got as much as you want.
As much time as you want.
a couple weeks ago, I'm up on the last actor in the early show. I don't know, for some reason I was just in a goofy mood. I don't always talk to the crowd, but this time I thought, anyway, this girl, I said, what do you do? And I never do that, you know.
Right.
She goes, I'm a nurse.
Right.
I said, oh, wow. I said, that must be weird. I mean, like, white people's asses. You know, I only talk about, I said, it's good for you that you have for people. And I said, you ever get guys, they get like erections and all? And, you know, what do you do? She said, well, I try and act like it didn't happen. I said, does it happen? Well, she goes, well, a lot of times I'll have an erection during when I'm sponging them down or something. I said, oh, where do you work? She goes, Children's Hospital.
Yeah.
The crowd went crazy.
Sure.
The crowd, it wasn't me that was so funny.
It's the moment.
The whole situation.
Yeah.
And just the idea, like, it was something so irreverent.
Yeah.
It was, oh my God.
You let her down. You let her in, and then you hit her.
It's funny. It's a moment you can't recreate. It's just a moment that happens.
You can't.
Yeah.
That's what's fun about seeing somebody
Yep.
really live. You know, this
Yep.
isn't a play.
Yeah.
This isn't like, this girl came into my podcast last week, and she was doing the Tonight Show, and I said, don't worry about the material. They don't know your act. Just be funny.
Right.
Right. So many people get hung up on, well,
Right.
this is the segue I should use for this. Nobody cares.
Right.
Just want you to be funny.
Right.
You know what? It's
You're right.
you know, nothing against the younger generation. I mean, I just think that what bothers me is that they don't want to pay their dues. They just think there's going to be a shortcut to everything, and you know what? They don't realize that they have all the advantages that we never had. You know, the social media is a powerful tool, but everybody thinks that they want to do these and then take shortcuts, and you know, you have to pay your dues a little bit and just work hard. It's not going to come overnight, and this field is saturated just like every other field, and it just.
Well, I have to thank the younger generation, because who else would I have sex with?
That's what keeps you young.
Back my age? Are you kidding me?
You're only as young as the women you feel.
That's it.
That's.
Thank you. I'll write that down. I appreciate that.
My line.
Don, when do you do the podcast now? Is that weekly or?
It's off and on. I mean, we just do it whenever we have something interesting to put on. Like I had that guy, this guy who was on Gary Shandling, Jeremy Piven.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
I had Jeremy a few weeks ago. That was just really interesting, you know, because he's such an actor.
Right.
And he's such a good actor that he's actually become a decent stand-up after like 6 months.
Right.
Because his acting ability is so high. So, you know, anytime we have somebody like that or just something happens, like I'm going to have Tiffany Haddish on again because Tiffany's like a stepdaughter to me. I used to teach her at comedy camp. And you know what's happened to her lately, it's just exploding, you know, her career.
Yeah.
And so I've had her on a couple times. And one time she was getting like physical abuse from this husband she had, something nuts. And she was crying on the podcast, you know, and like I said, can I put that on again? And she goes, yeah, I want people to hear what happened, you know. But anyway, so something's interesting. I don't have it because I want to have, you know, first of all, luckily I get friends like Joe Rogan and Burr and those guys. Their podcasts are so huge that if I want to plug something, I'll just go on there. I mean, Rogan's. I was in Australia, and 2 rows of boys, not young men, boys, like 15-year-old boys were there to see me, all because of Rogan.
Wow.
Nice.
What are you guys doing here? And that was it. Was that anyway? It's a whole different world. You said it's a different thing. I mean, now it's podcasts and radio, and before it always used to be like the Tonight Show, and then if you got Dangerfield special, that was a big deal. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Are you still friends with Bruce Willis? You guys still know each other still?
Yeah. As a matter of fact, he called me up to do his roast. He's doing a roast.
Oh, cool.
Doing a roast for him in July.
Oh, cool.
And you know how agents always like to make you think they got you something. He goes, I got a good surprise for you. You're gonna like this. I got something for you. I go, oh yeah. I said, I said, can I guess what it is? He goes, I'll never guess. He goes, Bruce Willis is doing a roast. He wants you in it. I go, I know. He called me.
My favorite Bruce. Yeah, go ahead.
No, the agent didn't know what to say.
My favorite Bruce Willis story with you is back in the day you were working the Improv in LA on the Melrose, and that was back in Bruce Willis's days when he used to drink a lot. And he'd be like heckling you during the show because you were his friend, and he's like heckling you and everything. And you get off the stage, what the hell are you doing? And he goes, I'm trying to help. I'm just helping.
Thanks for your help. the old HBO specials. He was, Louis Anderson was in a maid's outfit in the first scene.
Right.
And Bruce is in bed with me, and I realized that after I saw it, was, just, I don't want to run the jokes for it, but it was a pretty cool business.
Right.
This guy, Chucky Weiss, remember that song, Chucky's in Love?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The woman, Ricky Lee Jones, sang that was about this guy, Chucky,
Right.
There was 4 of us in the scene, and Bruce was in his Die Hard outfit. That's what a good guy he was to me.
Right.
He came right from the set
Right.
to this little scene with me for my HBO special.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I hear things like about guys like him, about they were drunk and they were like nasty with the dealer or something.
Right.
I don't know that side of him.
No, I know. Yeah, I know.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry if the way you shouldn't be rude to anybody, but to me, he's always a great guy.
Yeah, he was always your friend, always.
Hey, Dom, I heard you mention something before about the comedy camp. I'm old school. I don't know what the gist of it was, but I have an issue with the comedy classes, people that are doing that. I just don't think you can teach somebody to be funny. Either you got it or you don't. I mean, you can learn.
This is a way different thing. This is to give kids who have really no shot in life a chance to express themselves and to have fun. And stand-up comedy is just a way of getting them in there. It's not about that,
Oh, okay, good. Then I'm all
These kids like impoverished kids from Compton and all that stuff. And not that I'm some miracle worker, but it's fun to help them a little. And then you get somebody like Tiffany, who you just I knew Tiffany. As a matter of fact, I said a line with the audience. Well, half of them laughed, half of them kind of were stunned. I go, let me tell you something. If I've known Tiffany a long time, if you think she's hot now, you should have seen her when she was 15.
No. That's a groaner. You got a groaner with that one.
But I hear her scream and laugh.
Of course.
I cared about it,
Right.
Hey, Dom,
it's a cool thing. I know what you mean about comedy classes, and believe me, I understand. You should see some of the people that come up to me and want to be comedians, and I'll go, "Were you like class clowns?" They go, no. I go, well, were you funny? Were you friends? No, not really. Why would you want to become a comedian? I'd like to be a professional basketball player too, but not that fast, I'm not that tall. I don't understand. If you didn't get didn't you guys all get a lot of feedback to be in show business?
Right.
Money or something?
Yeah, exactly.
Dom, I got to run a line by you that I do in my act. It's like a 50-50 thing. I want your honest opinion of it, and seriously.
Oh boy.
It's,
boy, I'm in trouble now.
Yeah, I was married to a Syrian woman, and one of the things I used to do in my act was I said I never should have married a Syrian woman. It was the biggest mistake in my life. I should have known better. First time I went down there, I cut my lip on a box cutter.
That's kind of dated now. It's dated now.
Well, I mean, yeah, with the whole terrorist thing.
Well, I hate it, but go ahead.
I mean, there's people that fell out of their chair, and there's other people that are like, oh man, they felt bad for me. But hey, it was.
Well, I found it very uplifting.
I love this guy. He's the best. Oh boy. So you're going to be at Catch a Rising Star this weekend.
What, Saturday?
The 20th, Saturday and Sunday.
Oh, okay.
8 o'clock show, and you know what you're going to get. He's going to be great. We're going to give tickets away in a little while. And Dom, I just want you to know that anytime you need to promote anything, if you want to talk or shoot the shit or anything like that, you have an open door to come in anytime you want. And I know.
I appreciate that. Thanks. That means a lot to me. I love that.
And
I love doing radio. I love doing radio. I'm one of these guys that just love, bullshitting and talking and it's a lot of fun.
Are you living in California or are you still in Philly?
No, in California.
Yeah, I live in the hills so that I can look down on all the middle West. I see them skirmishing for food.
Oh,
I live in Hollywood.
That's
wow.
I've been out here since 1987.
Right.
Oh, wow.
Right. That's about a long time.
Before we let you go, would you do us a small favor?
Hi.
No material.
No. Would you do a station ID for us?
Sure.
Just basically, you're going to introduce yourself and say you're listening to the Animal House Radio Show on the Hamilton Radio Network.
All right.
When you're ready, go.
And the Animal House, what?
The Animal House Radio Show on the Hamilton Radio Network.
Are you listening to the Animal House Radio Show on the Hamilton?
You gotta say your name, you gotta introduce yourself too, they gotta know who you are.
I know, I was gonna do that at the end, so I remember the first part.
Animal Health Radio Show on the Hamilton Network. That'll work.
Hi, this is Don Morera. All of a sudden, I got more energy for some reason. I'm doing a promo. You're listening to the Animal House radio show on the Hamilton Network.
There you go.
Yeah.
I like that.
All right.
That was good, Dom. That was funny.
That was great, Don.
That's
Thank you
I'm
so
more nervous for that than I do for a show.
That wasn't even a promo, that was a monologue.
That was great. That was great.
Don, thank you. God bless. I'm gonna.
You too.
I'm-
Say what if I said hi. And
Yes.
I hope to meet you guys live sometime.
That'd be
Absolutely.
nice.
We're gonna try and make it down this weekend.
All paths are crossed somewhere, Dom. I love you, man. You take care of yourself, all right, brother?
Ditto. Thank you. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Take care. Don Herrera.
Ditto.
All right.
We're gonna take a short break. We're gonna be back with Ed Ruffalo's The Way the F Out There News and Dee Schneider. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Schneider.
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 Schneider and Slatter.
Slaughter.
Everybody has fun on our show.
Music. Dead air.
Maestro,
Hello,
please.
folks out there. Here comes some music for
Hold
you.
on. Here we
Here
go.
comes some stuff for you right now.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're
Google.
fortunate that our daughters
What's
have
Back in
the ability
10.
to grow and learn.
Goody
But
Google.
that isn't the case for nearly 13
Hey, dolls, goody
in the US
Google.
that struggle with hunger.
Oh, you wanna go there someday? We'll go see. It's right down in Gratitude.
It's intense. This is what's going on with
Take care of the
Spencer.
feeding American
Oh,
world.
it's
What's for Saturday?
Billions of pounds of
Be
good
perfect.
food
Let me see what's going on. I would like to. I'd like to see. I haven't seen that in a while.
Everybody's off Monday.
Everybody's off Monday. Yeah, but I'm gonna be somewhere Sunday right now.
Yeah, he's going to see, he's going to Anthony Cumia's house.
That's pretty good. Compound Media Party.
That's pretty good.
I let my mistakes.
I like his video game setup. I was telling my son about it. My son wasn't impressed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, his
High
dad
school
doesn't sell it.
and I didn't do it.
So now I gotta take pictures of him for my son. I have to be a creep in his house. Look at the setup now, okay?
No, you just have to video it.
Yeah.
No, it's all right.
I'll send,
You have an iPhone?
My family never stopped pushing for me to be better.
That's it.
They knew
Facebook Live and all that.
yeah, I'm not
The educational director, my sister, and even my second daughter, which has been more than the support that I've asked for. I've been given an opportunity, and I'm just thankful for it.
pretty much.
Diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help.
Am I supposed to
Find
start feeling
free
pain on my
education
mouth
classes
now?
near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Where?
That's finishyourdiploma.org.
Really? I didn't feel that. It'd probably be a little sore, but is it bad?
It only takes a minute to find out if you may have prediabetes.
No.
And do I have prediabetes.org.
Who did?
But you're probably not.
Who, Tom Bosley and Mary
I'm
Ross?
sure you have.
Who you talking about, Tom? Gene. Gene.
They got them all. She said after 6 months. Asked him if she said
So
after
much
6
better
months.
time than now. Let's begin. Raise one finger if you're a man. Ladies, none yet. Oh, counting your head if you're a woman. Now, 3 more fingers for everyone over 60. 2 over 50, 1 over 40, 1 more if you're not physically active. Another finger if anyone.
See, what do you want? No, that was him. He probably close.
Maybe he butt dialed you?
And he's seeing the missed call, that's why.
Yeah.
You've just taken the world.
How do you finally get him to call in? What happens?
I gave Susie the number for him to call up.
Do I have prediabetes.org?
We should go down there, Paul.
There's no excuse.
We should go down there for a couple minutes.
Depends. We see what happens this week.
Sunday night, maybe we don't know.
No, I mean that. Memorial Day weekend, I don't know what's going on with the family, we find out what's going on first. Otherwise, yeah, I'd like to.
Just shoot down for an hour.
Yeah, 8 o'clock the show? Is it in the regular room or is it gonna be in the big room?
I don't know where to put it.
I don't know where either.
They're doing over there, you know.
I don't know either.
Renovating, I think.
They better renovate.
Put them in like where we were.
I don't know. I don't know, because they really fucked that up, that whole place up.
Yeah.
Put it in front of the kitchen, why do you put a stage in front of the kitchen?
Message from Feeding America. Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand.
You have your stuff ready to go?
Yeah.
For our nation. For us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
What's the back there?
Jeez, give her some.
On a positive note, I used to try to.
UFOs see nothing of Washington, D.C. They've been
Is she done?
I don't feel like you get there.
They were able to use fact-checking.
You get more than you think you get. You get it.
Hey, Sandy, how's the book so far? You know it's autographed, right?
Yeah.
He's a secret token.
I would not make the move.
No, you get the question I was trying to ask you? Like, that generation, they had to sing, dance, and all that shit. Like, these people just got to.
Yeah, they just go out there. They do anything.
That's why I was surprised what she said, how she answered that.
Yeah, I was a lot more.
Wear your anxiety and relax. I probably don't understand what you're saying anyway.
No, she had a.
No, I think she was just saying that,
Maybe she was trying
she
to
thinks
say
the
that.
talent's just as good now, if not better. I get that.
I doubt
She's
it.
political.
I just think it's easier to be noticed now because of freaking social media.
Right, they have that advantage.
Yeah.
As long as I can sleep tonight.
But as far as like to.
But think about it, when you think about,
People are joining in, man.
like Don Rickles and like that generation, they went to war and came back and took these classes to learn how to dance so they could be on TV.
Right.
That alone is just amazing.
You had to be, you had to be
Sammy
diversified.
Davis
You had to be so
Jr.,
diverse back
right?
then.
Especially back
Come
then.
on, they were dancing around bullets anyway. They already had the steps down.
Dead
air.
Okay, I'll
Dead
Dead air.
Say hi, Sharon.
If you do, hey, you
Shut
doing
up.
out there, folks? We'll be coming up with Dee Snider in 2 seconds. A little bit.
Hi,
A
this
little
is
while.
Mr. Knight. This is Anthony Williams. Hey guys, this is Larry Scott from Revenge Miners. Hi everybody, this is Tommy James. Hi everybody, this is George Gray from The Price is Right for the Hamilton Radio Network. And I just want to say, the Animal House Radio Show, come on
Oh, wow.
down!
Hey, this is Tony Daniels from the films The Wanderers and Porky, and you're listening to the Animal House Radio Show on HamiltonRadio.net.
All right, we are back, and it's time.
Yeah.
We're going to be playing you our great interview that we had with Dee Snider. And
Don was great too. wasn't it?
Don was great.
That was great.
We're gonna hopefully we'll get a chance to go down there.
Yeah.
And see. And right now we're going to take you to your favorite segment of the week, and everybody loves it. He does a great job. He crushes it every week. Please welcome the big kahuna himself, Ed Ruffalo, and the way the F out there news.
All right.
Bloomin' idiots and bloomin' onions. Police said an argument over a child kicking a seat at an Outback Steakhouse turned violent recently. Officers had to break up a fight at the restaurant on Marshall Road last Sunday evening. The fight started because a small child was harmlessly kicking the seat. There's nothing harmless about kicking
Is that
the seat.
Bloomfield, New Jersey? No,
No, Orange County.
I'm just kidding.
And it's Bloom.
Right.
Yeah.
Kicking the seat of another group at the restaurant, according to the police. Police said that this agreement turned physical when the kid started kicking the seat, and then a man from one party asking if the other man can please restrain his bratty kid. This immediately infuriated the parent of the bratty kid and caused a shouting match filled with expletives.
Expletives?
Yeah, those two. Going back,
I gotta write that down for you, Ed.
going back and forth that disturbed everyone in the restaurant. I still got croissant stuck in my
Suffering
mouth.
sabotage.
Where the heck did you get a croissant?
Yeah, where you get a croissant from?
Well, it was wrapped in that the half an eclair or whatever
It's
it is.
the lobster tail.
Yeah, that thing.
There's no lobster in it.
Croissant.
I know.
There's
It was a lobster tail with croissant.
The two men in it's not even a lobster tail. It's eclair cream in it.
Can only.
Eclair cream
Yeah.
in a croissant.
The two men and their wives began wrestling with each other. It looked like a bad version of Monday Night Raw. They should have called me. I would have volunteered to do the announcing. for a small fee. Customers cleared out and began videoing the debacle. A child was knocked down during the fight, hopefully the one that was kicking the chair, which infuriated one of the parents and blacked out and grabbed a blooming onion off a nearby table.
Someone else's blooming onion.
A lot of ands here. And charged the other man and smashed it directly into his face like a classic pie-in-the-face gag from the vaudeville.
Days.
No, it just stops at vaudeville.
Vaudeville.
I didn't write this. He then positioned himself like the Karate Kid in the final mage. Mage.
Yeah, mage.
Mage.
Okay.
With his hands raised in the air and screamed, "Who wants some?" Police charge Miguel Gallardo, 51 of Milford, and Domingo Rodriguez Vasquez, 34 of East Haven, with breach of peace?
Real
What
American.
the hell does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
And risk of injury to a minor who deserved a beating anyway.
It's like disturbing peace.
They will appear in court next week. Here, hold that.
I don't understand that one.
Wow.
But I like blooming onions.
Yeah,
Those
Oh, I
are
love
good. Those are good.
I like this one.
Oh my God.
California woman sues her parents because she is ugly.
She's exactly right.
Hollywood, California. I wonder if Tom Herrera is her dad. A Californian woman is suing her own parents for $2 million because she blames her parents for her ugly genes.
Wow.
Why don't you just go buy some Jordache?
That's the funniest story I ever heard.
Annabella Jefferson, 44.
What's her name?
Annabella Jefferson.
That's why she ain't getting laid.
Annabella.
Believes her parents are fully responsible for her unpleasant physical features, which have led to her 3 divorces, so somebody was banging her anyway, and a succession of depressions and psychological troubles. First off, let's review. If you saw this girl's photo, which I haven't, it is apparently clear she has severe trouble putting down the fork and is quite a heifer. Sorry, sweetheart, that your milkshake isn't bringing all the boys to the yard. That's because you drink them all, you selfish pig. Secondly, with a name like Annabelle, doesn't help much either. Upon further scrutiny, I viewed the pic of her parents, and they look like normal middle American people. Normal middle American people have $2 million?
Wow.
Both of my parents are so damn ugly, it is simply cruel to have had kids. They should have pushed her down a flight of stairs. There is no way they should have been allowed to reproduce themselves.
Wow.
And this is in red.
That's pretty harsh word.
This is in red, so either we ran out of black ink or this is highlighted.
I don't know.
There should be government programs to sterilize ugly people, or at least make it impossible for them to have kids. I am not against that.
That sounds like something you would rant
It's
on.
crazy. It's like the
Are they
preamble.
pregnant together? No.
The preamble. We the people.
Jefferson blames her parents for her succession of unsuccessful marriages, which led to a series of psychological problems. Maybe it's because you're fat and ugly. During my first divorce, my ex-husband told the judge that every morning he saw my face, he felt nauseous and often had to run to the bathroom and puke.
Ew.
How do you marry a girl like that? I don't understand.
Well, obviously she's loaded.
Yeah.
Honestly, can you blame him? I mean, I would even let this girl blow out the candles on my birthday cake, which doesn't make any sense because apparently Carlo thinks she's ugly, but he would let her blow out the candles on his cake.
No, you wouldn't let her.
No, I would.
Oh.
He would.
He makes a
So-
lot of errors.
He really
Maybe
does.
You sit home and fucking write him, you genius.
I'm only going to print them. I'll check them from now on.
Now, you see,
That's the easy part.
I don't know how this went bad. My last husband was technically blind, but regained 40% of his sight after successful eye surgery. He divorced me the next week.
You realize what the hell?
What was I thinking? Maybe that's Sandy's problem.
She's just got to clean her glasses and she'll really see Jane.
Oh my God.
The 44-year-old plans on starting an association for people who have had similar problems and who wish to sue their ugly parents. She hopes to lobby the State Department in the near future to pass legislation on banning people who don't meet. My God, she is ugly.
She is. She's a. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Holy
That's
cow.
Mark Merriman.
Mark Merriman, how's he doing?
He's doing good. He's one of the sent that.
Are you kidding me?
He's listening.
How about legislation to prevent you from being a slob of a human and shoving food down your enormous gullet? And wearing your hair like a stringy mop. And glasses that I can burn ants with. And those teeth, well, you know, just by what he's describing, parents could be guilty here. Those teeth, when you smile, looks like an abandoned factory with one light on. What the hell does that mean? My advice, Annabelle, is to head over to ShopRite, pick up a few bags to wear over your head. In the meantime, get yourself to a gym and work out and practice better oral hygiene. Practice better oral hygiene practices and oral sex practices. A lot of practicing going on here. Maybe the divorce record may decrease.
Is this part of the riddles?
Fuck you.
It might be.
How's that? Fuck you.
Is that the same?
I
as,
think that's it.
Rhyme yourself? Is that the same as that?
Vonnegut, and I'm going to stop payment on that check, Vonnegut. Good job.
Hey, Ronnie, can
Put these in the file.
Can you read lips?
I'm going to write these in crayon next week for you. Okay?
As long as you write them in English and spell some stuff right, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Well, I figured you are smart enough you would know that. Say, I know.
I'm just going to read what you're writing because that's funnier.
Oh. Let's keep moving.
Let's go on.
Nothing to see here, folks.
All right, what time is it?
It's time for D. Schneider.
10:24. Let's go.
All right. We have a quandary here.
Oh.
We got to do the
Quandary,
military
write that
thing, and then we're going to do D. Schneider.
What?
So Gene, play the military
Quandary.
tribute, and then right after that, yeah. But see how you're going to do that.
We can say goodnight and let it roll.
Yeah, let it rap. We roll.
You play it on the way out.
Rap, roll, D.
All right, let's play the military tribute. All right, and that's going to feature Joe Mantegna. It's talking about the Memorial Day concert, President Reagan. Performances by Whitney Houston, Lee Greenwood, Carolyn Benson Brown, and
Carolyn Benson?
How long is this going to be?
Benson.
20 minutes.
It's the military tribute is 20 minutes because there's like 3 songs,
Oh, for the love of God.
and then the D. Schneider interview we know it's like 42 minutes. So
Why don't we play these?
Animal House will be going on for 27 straight hours.
no, we'll be off the air, but it'll still be.
It's Animal House Marathon.
So why don't we put the tribute on after D. Snyder?
Nobody's going to be here.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not sticking around for another 20 minutes to listen to this thing.
You can play it. We don't have to be here to hear it. We've heard it.
Yeah. We can listen to it on the way home.
Right.
All right, but I want to. All right, so we'll. But I want to thank everybody this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, for all the men and women who served, have served, and are still serving, and all our friends that listen to us every week.
And Carlo isn't serving, he was fired.
Yeah, and
You play the D. Snyder and then have him play the tribute at the end.
he's got to do it. Because I'm going to listen to make sure. But all right, right now we're going to take you to our interview with D. Snyder. Hope you all enjoyed it, and we'll see you all next week. Have a safe and happy Memorial Day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yay.
It's time for another Animal House session. Joining us tonight on the show is legendary frontman, singer-songwriter, Mr. D. Schneider, all the way live, kicking back with us for a while. So sit back, relax, and enjoy, because we're not going to take it, and neither is he. Yeah, D. Schneider. Hey, D, how are you? Good. Hey, I just want to say thank you off the bat for doing this. I know you're a busy guy, and I really appreciate it. So I really enjoyed meeting you this month at the Children's Convention. And I know our servicemen and women are going to love hearing you. So I'm glad to do it. Free-flowing conversation. That's it. That's what we're doing. I love it. The story you told before, I'm with Paul Veneer from Salty Globe. How you doing, buddy? Hey, Paul. How you been there? You were saying that you had moved there.
I wouldn't say where.
No. Yeah, no. And you're not going to during the winter time. Stay back for a week and you're going to show me that for 3 days. That's so funny.
No.
Yeah, it was God just saying you made the right decision.
I didn't get your show on there because it's still in the thing. I can't do anything.
That's all right, I'm only getting half the shows lately anyway.
Come on, I handed all the shows to you. I gave you every show.
Last show, 40 minutes.
That's what it was.
The last show wasn't 40 minutes. You cut off.
That's
the first 20 minutes of the show got cut off. We didn't have her sing.
But I didn't. Do you not understand?
Look on YouTube. Look on YouTube.
Same with YouTube?
YouTube, 39 minutes.
Do you not on there singing?
The second song, not the first.
Yeah. Oh, this. How about the Facebook page? Is it on there? All right, I'll grab it from there and I'll take the audio.
If you can.
Yeah, I'll do that. See you guys.
Look at Gene leaving on time. Look at Gene leaving on time.
Thanks for the floor.
You're welcome.
And I was out there, I shoveled the lawn many more times in one day. I don't know what's happening. I'm not supposed to be here. Going back to the beach.
That's it. I'd love to be on the beach.
I'm so tired of it.
Young people listening going, it's because you're old. You know, maybe.
Is Gene leaving?
Yeah, there's plenty of things in his life that
Is Gene leaving?
Yeah.
He's trying to email me the show.
And I'm happy to say, I've been there, done that. Let somebody else do it now.
Yeah, I didn't get mine either. I get it next week.
Get to drive in it and live in it, because it's a different thing entirely.
Yeah, it's beautiful to look at. It's so very black and ugly, and they bury your car with a snowplow.
You're right. You do what they did to us when we were young, and we wanted to make fun of ourselves. We would shovel snow, and then they pay us with a tin of cookies.
You'll undercut yourself, that's a beauty.
Fine. I get it next week. I don't need it that bad.
I was like that kid in the commercial. That was like Anthony, it's spaghetti day.
So I can get it next week. It's fine. Yeah, I'm out. So, everybody have a good Memorial Day.
Stay safe.
Sold out, and at the end of the game, you'll get paid, and the promoter said, you can have the money or this pile of cocaine. And the pile of cocaine wasn't nearly what they were going to be paid. They took the pile of cocaine. So, I mean, it's like taking the cookies. You took the cookies, and you take the pile of cocaine.
My last show coming back from Las Vegas, I was coming back and I was on the plane with the Funkadelics. They would come back for a private party, $10 million for a private party.
Oh, wow.
There's a semi-secret world of corporate gigs out there, which are just insane, where you'll get Elton John playing in somebody's living room in the Hamptons.
Yeah.
Because they gave him $1 million for 5 songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he goes, okay. I mean, you know John's gonna go, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I mean, $1 million? Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Why wouldn't you?
Hey, you know, I'm a super fan. I've been admiring your work since the 70s and the early 80s. When growing up, the 80s was my decade. I know so much, but for like the men and women out there who haven't heard of you, which I can't see that there's been many, when did Dee Snider know that he wanted to be a musician? How did it start for you?
It literally, like so many people, you know, my age, I'll always quotation marks. It was the Beatles' appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show. And just to show you the power of that appearance and put it in perspective, first of all, the first appearance of the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, 70 million people watched.
Yeah.
70 million in the United States.
That's only 4 channels.
Right, that's why we had 4 channels. And 2 weeks later, they played again, and 75 million people tuned in. Okay, but it was such a powerful thing. We didn't have a TV in my house. My father had band television. He said, we're going to get back to basics. We're going to read. We're going to song. We're going to build puzzles. So while the Beatles were changing the world, I was building a freaking puzzle. Nice. The power of that event was so huge that that was Sunday night show. Monday morning, I'm in like 3rd grade.
You guys get the Dickens channel?
And people are just
It's kind of like MTV, but there's a lot of
What's going on?
decades.
And they told me about the show, and just hearing about it, I right there said, I'm gonna be.
I was just watching it, so last week,
I'm gonna be one of those.
that,
And I thought it was Beatles, yeah, we had a band, but it went from there. Just the power of that event, such an effect on so many people.
You know what's funny also, Dee, is back then, their hair was just touching their ears, and we thought it was really long.
It was insane. It was like, there's a comment, are they men? Are they women? You're right, it wasn't even over the ears, and they were, they bangs. Yeah. That was the big thing, that it was combed in the front, and it wasn't slicked back or grill cream. Right. It was, you know, it was just loose and shaking it, you know? Like, whoa, like going commando, they're going commando in their hair.
You know what, Dee, considering the genre of music that you wind up going into, when you saw that appearance on the Ed Sullivan Show with the Beatles, was that, I mean, and what, they weren't a hardcore group, I mean, for that era, I mean, coming out and being a shock to everybody, I guess it was hard back then, but,
different sound.
Yeah, it was, and you know how many people that say the same thing, how that was one of their biggest influences getting into music from the, watching the Beatles on the Ed Sullivan Show, it's just amazing. I guess for that era, that was hard for them because it was new.
Well, you know, I was just exploring this with somebody the other day. You know, I'm an OG headbanger. You know, and I had the first Zeppelin album we came out, the first Blue Cheer album we came out, the first Mountain album, the first, you know, Queen. Like it wasn't even called the first Sabbath record. It wasn't called metal back then. Right. It was called hard rock. Right. So, like you said, when the Beatles came, even though it wasn't metal, it was more edgy than a lot of what was going on. Yeah. And then I just found it
a lot harder than Pat Boone.
You know,
a lot harder than Pat Boone.
A lot harder than Pat Boone. It wasn't. Everything was.
Although he did a metal album.
You know,
yeah, right. Later on.
Edgier sound.
But yeah, back then it was all 50s music before that. Yeah. That's the doo-wop stuff. Music changed the whole sound.
And it was Paul Revere and the Raiders out there.
Paul Revere and the Raiders.
And I was drawn to Paul Revere and the Raiders. Yeah. Who were always a little, if you go back and you listen, and it's been said that they were harder edged. You know, there's songs like, you know, it was like a Good Thing and Hungry. Yeah. They had little things with sexuality, with drug references. Yeah. And so, you know, that was harder than the Monkees, and I just found that I was gravitating in that direction. And then, you know, like I said, it wasn't more metal. And it was from like 1973, 4, you know, that they had like Baltimore show. I think the first time the phrase was used in a review, Sir Lord Baltimore, it said in Queen magazine, used every heavy metal switch in the book. Right. And that was the first time that Robert Heavy Metal was used in writing.
I don't know what that was.
What number is that? 908?
609.
No,
The Sergeant Pepper came out.
they're 908.
The whole
What?
that album changed.
908 what?
Richard Sanders number.
But it absolutely did. But
There was a 908 number that called me before, but I tried to call it back and it hangs up on me.
No, it wasn't them.
Who's this?
You didn't tell me if it was calling.
That was like a turning point. Like, are you that guy? Do you like that sort of psychedelia?
Yeah.
Or are you, or
609 is South Jersey.
He shook it in their face.
609 is South Jersey.
He played Sergeant Pepper opening his set in England with the Beatles in the audience before the album came out. They learned it backstage and they shocked everybody because Jimi Hendrix plays Sergeant Pepper for the Beatles before they released the album.
I feel bad to say what it is.
He did like an edgier version. Right. But the fact was, like, now Hendrix was coming around. There's hard rock being born. Queen, you know, and you know, Paul, you know, there's Jim Mountain, Blue Cheer. It does the things start to change. And then by, you know, 70, Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, and now the Woodstock Nation is coming across the scene. Yeah. And people are choosing sides. Yeah. And then some of those went down that path, you know, and that was me.
Yeah. Dave, let me ask you, I want you to, do you find it funny the irony of that when we talk to a lot of American artists, singer-songwriters, they always cite that their influences were 9 times out of 10 it was an English-based band in the UK. And then when you talk, and I got the pleasure to meet Lemmy many, many years ago. He was sitting in the Rainbow Room. And when you asked him who was his influence, teacher says Little Richard. It's so funny how.
And when everybody's influenced by something. The English were influenced by us, and then we were influenced by the English.
Yeah.
It's very, yeah, you know, it is kind of, it is ironic. I mean, and why do you think all those English bands are singing with American accents?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Nobody's singing with an English accent.
Right.
The only person who's singing with an English accent was Johnny Rotten from the Sex Pistols. I mean, everybody else is singing in
And Peter Noon. Peter Noon always sang with an English accent, too.
They would turn
On the Louisiana, I am.
and the Johnny Cash and the early rock and roll, and then we got filtered through them, and then sent back to us again, and so it's a very weird thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's so true. Twisted Sister had so many hits, and I gotta ask you this, because we had Slash on a couple of months ago, and I wanna know if you feel the same way. When you're in concert, or when you're in a concert,
Yes, sir.
and you had commercialized hits that became huge, like We're Not Gonna Take It, I Wanna Rock.
Yeah.
Like when we asked Slash about Sweet Child of Mine, he said emphatically, I hate that freaking song, but it's not what I like, it's what the fans like, and unfortunately we have to play it, because usually the band usually likes the deeper stuff that you don't really get to hear unless you're a diehard fan and you bought the album and you listen to every track.
You know what? I totally disagree with Flash. I love him. He's a great guy. He's a real deal. And he's a genuine. But this is really different. There is no feeling in the world like seeing an audience like right up.
That number's coming up. Camden.
You can literally
Camden, New Jersey.
see.
Yeah, that's on one of the circles.
It's very
Hampton's like the Medford, that area.
Why don't you just call it?
I called.
Chris should be a fan. That's why I was just a fan.
Has my phone number?
Oh, it's texting to you.
Yeah.
It's probably something that
I thought it was Sandy.
It's probably, yes, no, it's not Sandy.
You're right.
It's Sandy Clark.
It's
It's not Sandy Clark, I'm telling you right now. Her number's 908.
It is 908.
Yeah, it's not 609.
Anymore to do it. I have done it.
What do you know down south? South Street, like Manahawk in that area? Could be Sue Keller?
I'm gonna digress for a second. I just was watching.
It's weird. Why would they say you have a sweet voice?
Great.
Yeah.
Give me a shout out.
And he was talking.
Well, then I gave Sandy the shout out. I thought it was
He was
her.
talking about comedy.
Wasn't there?
And he was talking
She wouldn't ask
to
for it,
someone, Michael Richards. Michael Richards had lost his crap. You know, if you remember, in a place where he started using the N-word, and he lost his mind. And Jerry said, this is not a selfish job, it's a selfless job. It's not about you, the guy on stage, it's about them, the audience. And Slash did say that, but that is ultimately what it's about. It's about, you're not there to please
You don't think it's
yourself. You're trying to please
Darlene?
the people who paid money.
Maybe.
Could be
To
Darlene.
come see you. It's
Could be.
selfless. And that's what.
Maybe 609, that's Cherry Hill.
It should be. And when
I
we do
can't
this,
imagine.
That sounds right. I bet you that's what it is.
Is it?
I bet you. Let me see, I wonder if I have
They
her.
go, why are you putting
Okay, let's tell you.
the deeper stuff? I said, they don't want
It's
to hear
weird.
it.
I'm like freaking out.
They don't want to
Like,
hear it. They're coming to hear the songs they love and know. It's selfless. It's not about us. It's about them walking out feeling satisfied that they saw the show that they wanted to see. And that's what it's all about.
I agree 100%. And also, it's the energy that when you can do a song a million times. And every audience is different, and when you get that energy from the audience, you tap into the universe, man. It's just a feeling you can't explain to anybody unless you've done it.
Yeah, and if you're blessed enough to have songs that the people of the world over know, it just, I mean, who are you? I mean, how arrogant. I'm not saying flag, I'm to say, you know, I'm not going to play that one. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? All you dreamed of as a kid was, and all kids all over the world were dreaming of being lucky enough to have that happen to them. And now that you've had it happen to them, you're going to say, yes, I'm not doing that anymore.
I know.
Hey, how does it make you feel?
We're not still on, Why? We're just sitting around. Why didn't turn it off?
And it's some
maybe
reason
because of
you're playing on one
this
generation.
guy,
Now that you do
Schneider?
a show or you get on stage, you got 4 or 5 generations, and there's kids that are in the audience that know every lyric, every song better than the people that grew up listening to it.
You know, it's first of all, it's incredible because, you know, I didn't expect to be alive. First of all, it's like, you don't really think, like, you know, when you're in your teens and 20s, you look at 40 and 50 and beyond is like, you know, it's like, you can't even imagine it. Right. You know what I mean? Like, and ideally you'd actually be on stage performing.
Right.
But it's incredible, and that's one of the reasons why, and I'm still doing solo shows. I've got a new solo album coming out July 27th called For the Love of Metal, which is a contemporary metal record that all like people from Disturbed, people from Lamb of God, Killswitch Engage, that contributed to the record. It's my voice with contemporary metal record called For the Love of Metal. It is available on Napalm Records now for the order. But Twisted, you know, that was one of my favorite things of all. Okay, I got to back up a little bit here. When I read a review of Twisted show, and it was really a reunion show, and it was really positive, but it said when a reunion show is good, it makes you feel young again. But when it's bad, it makes you realize how old you've gotten. And there's a truth to it. I've seen some of my heroes up there. Well, they shouldn't be up there anymore. Yeah. And it's sad.
Yeah.
But I've also been to shows where my heroes were. I just saw John Fogerty. John Fogerty. He is so 70-something years old. What an electric, rocking, powerful show. No, it's not, you know, Kiss 1976. It's John Fogerty, but he's still bringing it. Like every song is a little too fast, and he's still moving around the stage. He's talking to the crowd, and the crowd is on their feet by the end of the show. It was so great to see. But then I went to see Elton John. I wanted to take my own life. Oh my God, it sounded good, but I mean,
Elton looks like he's going through the motions. Yeah, Elton looks like he's just going through the motions these days.
Yeah, I mean, he's retiring. So, you know, and so to your question is when you are delivering a show and you're doing it right, and which Twisted did, and we stopped because we said, look, nobody beats Gravity, and we've been doing this on and off for 40 years, and I'm still peeling my shirt off, and the ripped, I was ripped, I'm eating carbs again, so I'm not, I'm not taking my shirt off. I
You're on.
You know,
I just watch them sit here.
And then
when you see these grown men and women
That's Darlene.
with their families, and you see them
like you're
smiling at you
retarded.
and elbowing
I'm
their
thinking the whole
son
time it was Sandy.
and pointing
No,
on,
it's not Sandy.
that's what I'm talking about.
You should find out who is it. If it is
Because I
Darlene,
was
you
in
can
the
put her name with
hospital.
the number.
She goes, are you okay? And I was
That to
talking,
me was
thinking
the
it's
greatest
Sandy.
joy of all, to see that shared experience, to see those older fans, original fans, feeling like kids again.
Yeah.
And then also, and
You have
the
Darlene's
fans
number?
living up to the
You have Steve's number?
expectations that they had and that they hope that we would bring and show their kids. So that is an amazing feeling. The greatest.
Yeah.
I understand what you're saying. Like you had a great run, and you're almost like Seinfeld. He pulled the plug on this series. He said, "Listen, there's nowhere to go now but down, most likely." But you know, I can't see Twisted Sister having a bad show, but you pull the plug while you're on top, and and it keeps the memory of the band from all the fans in. They remember something good, and it's instead of it's funny. You'll have 30 good shows, but they'll remember the one bad outing that you have. Even though I know it's not possible, but
Well, it is. Look, nobody beat Gravity. Show me anybody in history who has beaten Gravity. Everybody gets pulled down sooner or later, and we get to, a man's got to know what did Dirty Harry say? A man's got to know his limitations.
Right.
You know, I mean, I know things are wearing out. They're wearing out, and I'm in great shape. I stay healthy, but you can't beat Gravity.
Yeah.
So, and one of the things that prompted me, and it was and this is not a slight on Slayer or Tom Araya in any fashion, but it was very disturbing. I read a review and it said, and Tom talked about the fact that he can no longer headbang on stage because he literally damaged his neck. Wow. And he says, I define myself as the guy who thrashed on stage as hard as the audience, and now all I can do is stand there and groove.
Right.
And that's what I don't want to happen. I want to get off the stage while I'm still, and I was, throwing my body onto the floor, crawling around, headbanging, thrashing. I'm out there performing. I don't do those things anymore. Because it's like an athlete. you damage your stuff. But to be up there and to feel that I just felt his pain saying, I defined myself by thrashing, and I can't do it anymore.
I think
and I'm still up there. It hurt me to hear him say it.
Yeah.
I said, I just can't have that be me.
I find also, it's not so much the performing gets tiring, but I think the road weary should have it. The road, just being on the road weary, it's hard.
Oh yeah, people asking me, oh, hey, go over the mountain, you're gonna do a full tour? I'm like, no. I'm like, what do you mean no? I said, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm not getting back on the bus or the van or the, I mean, the Stones are doing it. They've got private jets. So they set up camp in the Alsatian Mountains somewhere in France, in a big estate, and they fly out for each show in a private jet. I mean, somebody wipes their freaking ass, for God's sake. If you're on that level, awesome. But getting back and going city to city to city to city, no, it's not happening.
Hey, D, at our age, we're not too far from having somebody wipe our ass, but not for the same reason.
Exactly.
We don't even know they're doing
it. Exactly. That's why we have children.
Hey, D, what was the decision behind the dressing up the way you did when you in Twisted Sister? Was it just to get the shock and awe value of the performance, or to be different?
The error.
Well, the band came out, as Paul knows, the band predates me by a few years. It's a great documentary called We Are Twisted, Blanking Sister on Netflix, which actually documents the fact that the band existed for 10 years before MTV found us.
Right.
So it was a long, hard road, but the band came out of the glitter era of the early 70s. David Bowie, Alice Cooper, New York Dolls. So that was, it was birthed from that. When I joined the band in 76, that scene was over, but I was just like a knucklehead. I wouldn't let it go. I was like, I'm still doing it. It's over, man. I'm still doing it. And the band was literally, they were literally, I think, changing the name. They were trying to change the look. And they had this, dunderheaded 21-year-old lead singer from Baldwin, Long Island, who still was living in the early 70s.
Right.
So anyway, they said, oh, well, I guess that's what we're doing, because that nut won't stop. And then it became, hair metal, but there was no hair metal when Twisted was first out. There was no Motley Crue or Rat or Cinderella or Poison. There was none of those bands. We were coming out of the very early glitter rock era of the 70s.
Okay, so you talked about the look. How did you get the name Twisted Sister?
I pride myself on the fact that I wrote every Twisted song by myself. I created the videos. I created everything conceptually was there with me. Because my wife Suzette, I've been with her 42 years now. She tried doing the costume, the makeup, the hair. She was like, whatever I was, she doesn't like take credit. She goes, don't blame that on me. She was an MIT graduate, she was a very talented woman. She was just like, look, you had this thing you wanted to do, and I helped you achieve it. But that was your idea. So, but the name, one thing I can't take credit for, and it was from the first lead singer. It was at the very start of, actually that was called Silver Star in 1973. And they had this New York Dolls look they were going for. And Michael drank too much. And he made it up at like 3 in the morning.
So you want me to take them off?
From a bar.
Oh, any other food you want to
I'm good, thanks.
He was drunk with that, and he goes, AJ, I've got the perfect name. Twisted Sister. Like, Twisted Sister. And it's a fun guy name. And the next day, Michael didn't even remember calling him a call. But AJ was like, whoa.
That's how a lot of things happen, right?
Definitely, always, the best stuff. Even when it comes to writing, the best stuff that flies out.
You know what? I love
Just happens. Whenever I'm writing, I always have the TV on low. Because maybe you might hear a phrase or something that turns up. It works a lot.
Just saw some woman slaughtered her family in England.
You never know what's going to stimulate,
I had a picture of this woman with an axe or something.
I'll tell you, what, D, I loved you guys in the beginning, and to show you what one of my favorite songs that you did. It might have been, I know it was on MTV and stuff, which helped a lot of bands, but I love Out on the Street. It's my favorite Twisted Sister song because I just, and to credit you, I think you have one of the most amazing voices ever because you had the ability to have that high range and the lower range, and you just brought it every time. But that was my.
Well, thanks for appreciating it, and that's not a well-known track. That's a deep cut, as they say. It's like when I met when we did Jimmy Fallon show, Jimmy said, "I'm a huge fan." I go, "Yeah, I hear this all the time." He goes, "My favorite song is I Am On Me." And I Am On Me is like from our second album that hit in England, but did nothing over here. And the fact that he picked that one spoke volumes of the fact, oh, you actually know what we do. You know the stuff. And as far as my voice goes, thanks for appreciating that. Because, when people sing my songs, often they come to me and go, dude, I didn't realize you were singing so high. It sounds high and thin, like a lot of guys sing. It sounds high and full. Because I'm freaking roaring. It's kind of like, how do you feel like that? It's kind of like letting an air, like,
as soon as this is done, we can play that. We don't have to be on the air for that one.
Okay. Air comes into a very small opening and somehow it makes sound.
Yeah. And you know what put me over the top of you, besides the obvious talent and the love of the music, when you did that whole thing with the PMRC, I said, this guy really gives a shit and he doesn't take any shit.
My respect for you 100% when I saw you that you stood up for yourself and your music and other musicians. So I have to applaud you for that.
Well, thanks for appreciating it, and of course, I felt a responsibility to represent. I was trying to speak for everybody, but if I can represent myself well and intelligently, I can show people that they are wrong. And I'm actually doing a kind of thing coming up. I just did a piece. They felt that that was, I'm doing a piece of Psychology Today. Psychology Today, because they feel that there's a recent study that this is true, that shows that headbangers, heavy metal fans, are better adjusted adults than fans of other forms of music. And Psychology Today is doing a piece on it, and they think that that moment in time where that perception of metal started to change was my speech before Congress, before the Senate, hearings on the censorship thing.
Who started this year?
And they did because people were like, whoa.
Yankees won 10-5. Yes!
Having a brain.
9 series in a row. No
usually
record of history.
And they broke another
Yankee record.
9
series in a row.
Understanding or enjoying this kind of music.
Team you played 3 games, or you played 4 games, or you played 2 games. It's usually 3 games most of the time. In each series. They won 9 straight series. Most of them they swept. A lot of them they swept. They won like 22 out of 25 games. That's how much they're kicking ass. These young kids.
Thank you for that. You showed everybody that we're not morons, and we're it's misjudged and misunderstood.
And who's Rob Lowe?
You can't just.
He's the guy casting that gets us a lot of gas.
He's been watching. He shared it.
No, you can't. Everybody's individual. You got to respect that.
Yeah. Well, you know, everybody likes to
They try to fix it.
Yes, they do. But man, they screwed up on me. Anyway, I said, are you vetting? Is anybody out there vetting or reading the lyrics? It's like these right-wing politicians.
They're winning 10-5. That'd be the easiest fucking game.
And I contact them and say, you do realize the first line of the song is, we've got the right to choose.
Right.
You're singing, we've got the right to choose. They go, wait, what? And I said, yeah, you're singing, you're anti-woman's right to choose. You're saying, we've got the right to choose. Somebody tell me the lyrics. So it's just,
Yeah.
Are you going to be bringing back Roanoke?
Thank you for asking. You're a doll. I've got this great, amazing family, happy, healthy, intelligent individuals. My kids are grown and they're all successful in the things they do. My wife, unlike Tipper and Al Gore, my wife and I are still together.
Thankfully, right?
Unlike Tipper and Al Gore's children, none of ours have been busted organizations. Throwing rocks
Brooklyn girl.
But we did a series Growing Up Twisted, and people
Growing
loved
Up
it.
Twisted.
But after one season, they came to us and said, yeah, you guys aren't weird enough.
Yeah, they want people screaming and yelling at each other, that's what they want.
They really think they want the drama.
I was like,
Yeah.
well, I think
That's why the
yeah,
script.
we need you to be like, we're more dysfunctional. And I go, first I said, you know what, we're not weird enough for reality TV.
Right.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
That's a compliment. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I love your show and I love Family Jewels because they show families that love each other. They're not used to that on TV. There's too much
No, they're
negativity.
not, but Gene's family was willing to act out situations that were zany. Like, hey, the kids are picking up dad's birthday cake.
Right.
And not in a box for some reason. I don't know where you went to, but handed you an open cake on a platter. And oh my God, Sophie stepped on the brake and his face went right into it. I mean, that's what's down on a piece of paper.
Of course.
And they came to us and said, listen, would you willing to rip some zany stuff? I said, you know what? No. Everything that happened on the show was our real life.
I would have wrapped them up.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Great.
I'm fine.
I did.
Basketball court and all that stuff. But I said, but if it comes to just pretending that we're something we're not going to do it.
Right.
Hey, D, I'm looking forward to the album coming out, and as soon as you're able to, I want to debut here on the network. You've done a lot of movie producing. Any plans to do with that in the future? You did it. Strangeland was amazing.
Seems like
Thank you.
drop on the floor so you can step
new
on
production company called Twist Storm, working with award-winning producer partner Michael Alden, and we've got a number of horror properties to be announced very shortly. So actually, oddly, the first thing that we did was for a new children's animated cartoon show. That would that the whole inspiration was to create a show that parents didn't want to take their own lives while they were listening to or watching with their kids.
I literally thought I was
They said to me,
I literally spoke to myself
why is music on these kids shows so bad? I said, because you're hiring the people who didn't have hit records.
He's like, are you okay? And I'm going,
You're hiring people who
he's in my
failed
mouth already.
to have successful records. And you're saying, well, you write songs for kids? And the Wiggles go, yes. And the Wiggles rock. I mean, they said, try hiring people who actually can write a hit song, and you're going to have better material. So this new show, we just signed a deal, it's just going to a year or so. That would like to release everything in season at one time. Never do all episodes at once. We're just doing production, but I'm writing all the music for it and co-create it, and hopefully it'll be a cool show. That's the first thing that we're doing. We've got a number of huge announcements to make in the horror world. Huge. We're just trying to deal with to reboot one of the biggest franchises in the history of horror. I can't believe that we have the rights to it. And that announcement is going to be coming in the next month, I think. So,
Cool.
Yeah, so we got a lot more surprises coming.
Oh, I can't wait.
I love the horror genre too. It's a fun genre.
You know what? It's amazing, and I'm sorry we ran so long. We're just enjoying the talk to you so much, and I know.
It's a conversation, my friend.
Gee, what can you tell us about For the Love of Metal now? That's going to be out in, you said June?
Well, the first single for Metal Radio is going to come June 1st on Napalm Records. Their pre-orders are going on now. Now, they're Napalm selling the bundles with the, when you order, you immediately get a download, that kind of thing. And but the album itself will be officially released.
How do you go off? There's not enough switch on these things?
Is an album of pure inspiration. Jamie Jasta, the singer for Hatebreed, he was one of the hosts of Headbangers Ball for years.
Oh, they should bring that back too. Another thing.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
He did a great podcast.
No, it didn't break.
He challenged himself to do a contemporary metal record. And I said, who's going to produce this? He said, I'll produce it. I said, yeah, well, who's going to write the music? Because, I'm studying a different form of songwriting. And he said, everybody. So we went into the studio and kept it down our own time. We started working together. And
I'll let Gene email me the show.
Is this camera still up?
Yeah. People from Disturbed, Lamb of God, Killswitch Engage.
and so many others came forward with songs and ideas, and I did duets with Howard Jones from Kill Switch, and I do a duet, an Andy Williams song with Alicia White Blues from Arch Enemy, and a number of, like, so when we did this record, and then we put, again, out of our own pocket, no record deal, just inspiration.
That's facing the center
where you work. And then we had multiple labels, metal labels, bidding on the thing. At a time where nobody's getting legitimate record deals, we're getting crazy offers. And they paused. We wanted to go to metal labels, true metal listeners. And Jamie said, I
with the two cameras, you're in that crate.
I said, what is it? He said, for the love of metal. And I said, that is the title. Because everything here was purely because we're fans of the genre, and everybody was inspired and working again. Now
with the two in the crate,
just hey, we want to do this.
Where was it when I was on the camera?
Jamie, let's this is awesome. Let's have fun. Let's make a great record. And so, I think it's really inspired, and looking forward to it. By the way,
where the hell is
I will share one thing. I've got to go after this. I want to share. There's, the state of the world, I'm a person who's always, I never sang about sex, drugs, and
Follow this thing.
You know, the guy, I was as a middle singer, waving by, and screaming to people, we're not gonna take it, fight back, stand up for yourself, believe in yourself,
No, it was in the crate, that's why I put him in the crate. You see in the crate.
This is something that I'm really,
Well, that's what I said.
I'm always been against, but.
So I was asking you, you have no horse fighters, you said no.
It's also songs about.
It's just disconnected and then you just use this kind of politics.
And I think politics, what's going on in the United States is going on all over the world.
Yeah, it's global.
It's not just the United States. You see it in England with Brexit, you see it in Italy, you see it, people all over the world, we're getting fed up with, business as usual. And they're taking some pretty extreme measures, for better or for worse, to change that. But there's a song on the record called American Made. And it's not a nationalism song, it's a unity song. It's inspired, I was watching the Olympics, and I said, look at this. Well, we're at each other's throats politically right now.
Right.
But when our teams are out there on the field, we're all together in the stands, side by side, chanting USA, USA.
Right.
Because we're, at the end of the day, it's a family, it's a dysfunctional family, but like any family, we can fight amongst ourselves, but don't you dare start with us.
It's true.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't you dare start with us. Because we may be fighting amongst ourselves, but we're Americans first and foremost. And American Made is that song. And this is a huge anthem. And I think when you guys hear it and when people hear it, I'm very excited to make this statement because I think it needs to be made right now. I think people need to be reminded that, and if I ask any of you, I think everybody say the same thing. Yeah, I'll fight with you, tooth and nail. I mean, you see families divided over politics these days.
Yeah.
But anybody fucks with the family,
You're dead.
and that's it.
Paul? Yeah, I was gonna say, you'll be happy to know, don't believe the news on TV because, believe it or not, the world is not falling apart. It's actually coming together. It's just,
I hope so.
Don't believe what you see on the media.
No, people need to be people need to be reminded. Sometimes.
Yeah, but you're right though. It's a global thing. It's a global event.
Because like I said, look, I just went through a tragic thing in my life. I come from a big family, and we had major issues between us, and we weren't talking for years. Some of us years, almost 2 decades. And then a tragedy. We fell
You put the
family,
cameras over here?
and my mom.
Yeah, they're in the crate.
This is the other camera.
And I'm on a dime.
Because
It was like,
I know
what I mean? Petty.
I like the way we had it today, but yeah, you're right.
This is a real problem. This is a real issue. We're a family, and we came back together in a heartbeat.
Right.
And that's the same thing with this country. So,
Yeah,
like you're saying, as crazy and as frustrating, and people wondering, This is the end of civilized man as we know it.
No.
You know, at the end of the day, we all know we're family and we'll fight to the death for each other
That's
if we
right.
have to.
That's
So,
the way it
and I'm
should be.
hoping to remind people.
Absolutely. Steve,
I
before
love
we
it.
let you go, would you do
This one isn't great with the other ones.
Is it involved?
Never.
Okay, I'm not even gonna go there.
It's not great.
There's a side to it, but what favor are you asking for?
No, we just need a station ID, if you do a station ID for us.
Yeah, not a problem. All right, everybody, listen up. This is Dee Snyder from Twisted Sisters, Franzland Celebrity Apprentice. Yeah, you know me. And you're listening to Animal House Radio on the Hamilton Network.
Perfect.
Steve, thank you so
Thank
much.
you,
God
Steve.
bless you. If you need us, we're here for you. Let us know whatever we can do to push the album and anything
Well,
else
let's
you got
talk
going.
again when the album's released and you're going to listen to American Made going, damn, Dave sits spot on. This song is spot on. This is an anthem for the next generation.
Can't wait,
So,
can't wait.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
God
guys.
bless.
And girls, take care.
Great to catch up with you. Take
Steve
care, buddy.
Snyder, everybody.
I'll never forget that once I did that first concert and how much it affected me and how I said to myself, this is very important. There's always something that's emotional, touching, moving, things that are going to be also heartwarming and entertaining. This certainly transcends what I do as an actor. This is the real deal. I've said it many times, but it's the truth. That concert is the most important thing I do every year.
If we look to the answer as to why for so many years we achieved so much, prospered as no other people on earth, it was because here in this land, we unleashed the energy and individual genius of man to a greater extent than has ever been done before. Freedom and the dignity of the individual have been more available